Morning, Raptor Freak. Alexiot's here. It is Thursday morning, and we're playing the Houston Rockets tonight. We beat Oklahoma City last night to get 7 wins in a row. It was a nice, good veteran type of win where we kept a nice, good lead over Oklahoma City for most of the game. They didn't really have a chance, honestly, in a lot of ways. We showed a lot of signs of dominance over Oklahoma City Thunder last night in different ways. Well, there's right away from the beginning of the game, OG going down there and bullying his way, getting that high percentage shot right away against a smaller defender like Josh Giddey. Just really good showing of our weapons and just like how dominant we could be. It's kind of like we bowled them first, then we sliced and diced them with Pascal, and then we hit them with the deep bombs from Gary and Fred. And it's just, there's so many different weapons on this team and how we can dismantle other teams' defenses and just get really good baskets, high percentage, good baskets. And they're really playing at a crazy high level right now. Great win last night. They really contained Dort. They didn't really have too much trouble with Oklahoma City for the most part. You could tell that they were being very professional about the game, that they wanted to maintain the lead, pour that syrup on as thick as they could. But, of course, Oklahoma City's not going to give up. They're going to try and come back, do different little runs on different places. But we withstood them and just showed that we were ready to last throughout the game and just win. And we ended up winning by, 15 points, something like that? I know Criscom said that it would be a 12-point win. Great Criscom. But it ended up being a 19-point win, guys. So, added 7 points to your total. But I love your prediction either way, Criscom. Good morning, Tom Duke. Great to see you as always, my friend. And Paul B., good morning to you also. I hope you guys enjoyed the game last night. It was a fun game in Oklahoma City. It's so weird to go to different buildings and different arenas, see the different people, the different in-game ops and stuff like that. They're honoring rodeo stars and, they got they got interesting stuff going on there. Tom Duke's saying so happy, almost a blowout, 19-point win for 7 in a row. Houston tonight, buddy. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun tonight. I mean, once again, we can't take this opponent lightly tonight. Houston is kind of down. They've been kicked around. They're the worst team in the Western Conference, and they've lost 7 of their 8 last games. And that means we need to really take care of business. We don't need to be an aberration, some sort of weird night where they up and come and decide to beat us somehow, some way. I don't know how it would happen, but we'd have to play really, really badly because this is the thing. Houston Rockets do not shoot well. And one of their best shooters is day-to-day right now. Eric Gordon is the big name on the injury list. He's day-to-day. We're not sure if we're going to see Eric Gordon tonight, which is okay because he's their best veteran shooter on their team right now. And if he's not there, it's great. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of those rookies and kind of young guys. And Christian Wood is on the team and players like that. But I think we should be able to control them pretty well. I did the height test. They're very, like a lot of guys right around 6'5", 6'4", 6'6". So our height overall should overwhelm them. There should be mismatches where we can post them and destroy them with guys like Scotty and OG. And, they shouldn't be able to do a whole lot against our defense because it's just really hard to shoot over guys that are taller than you and with these arms and all kinds of stuff. So I really hope we absolutely route these guys out, and let's get more than just 2 minutes for those end of the bench guys. It was really cool to see those guys come out, and Yuta hit both his shots. Svi had that really nice putback. So they're seeing little tastes of success. Maybe we can blow out Houston tonight, and they can get maybe a whole quarter of play tonight. That would be fantastic. That would be perfect. Okay, let's see. Andrew, let's go. 7 in a row, baby. Woo. Let's make it 8 tonight because 8 would be great. Oh, yeah. Let's see what Andrew's saying. Easy win, revenge game, keep the streak going, never lose again. Never again. We may never lose ever again. What if that happened, y'all? What if we never lost as a team, as a franchise for decades from now? That we just started this crazy era of being so much better than everybody that we just never lose again. I would be here for it. I would be so here for it. Paul all be saying easy win tonight. Yeah, we can say that, and then on paper and in all kinds of situations, yeah, but these guys are professionals. Yes, that's what's happening right now, is that Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam don't hear the noise, y'all. They are all about focus, and they know that this is just the next opponent, and they don't take nobody lightly. Like, this is the kind of thinking in their heads. They're like, yeah, these guys, they may seem like they're not that good, but you know what? These kind of teams can bite you in the ass when you least expect it. So they're going to be coming in this game very professional and handling it just the way they would handle any other game. They're going to come in and they're going to be badasses. And one of the things I want to talk about today is about Pascal Siakam. He has officially graduated, y'all. There was a period of time, even earlier in the season when he was first coming back from his injury, that he would have these, really good games, and then you have like an 8-point game or a 4-point game, a single-digit game. He'd have a dog of a game. Well, this is the thing. He's graduated to being a level of consistency now that we can expect and depend on him to play like a superstar every single night. Now, he may only get like scoring the teens some nights, like maybe get 14, 16, 18 points some nights. But all around, he's going to be getting rebounds. He's going to be passing the ball. He's going to be getting blocks. He's going to be getting steals. He's going to be playing good defense. That's what I'm talking about. That Pascal Siakam has finally graduated to being a consistent superstar go-to guy. And that he wasn't totally that up until recently. That like even when he was what he was a couple years ago as an all-star and all-NBA player, he had a bad year in Tampa and different things. He had, he's had his ups and downs, and he hasn't had problems with being consistently good night in, night out. Well, listen, guys, he's bona fide now. Listen, every single night that Pascal's going to sit on the floor, he may not get 40 points. He may not get 30, but he's going to get 20, and he's going to flirt with a double-double. He's going to get right around there, and we should expect that kind of consistency from him from now on. And I love it. I love it. That is what a real superstar does, is that night in and night out, you can count on them to produce, whether it's going to be points or just helping the rest of the team do stuff. Like, if he gets like, an 18-point game, but he has 10 rebounds and 9 assists, that is producing just as well as getting 40 points to me. So that's what I'm saying. Pascal has graduated just recently. Like, he is a consistent go-to superstar in this league now. And he needs to be talked about in the same kind of breath as guys like Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm telling you right now, he is that level of superstar for us, and he's going to be doing this for us night in and night out. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's see. Tom Duke's saying, how about that OG interview? Yes. After the game, OG got interviewed by Amy Audibert, who, first of all, she was a rocker chick last night, wearing that leather jacket in Oklahoma City. I could just tell she's the sideline reporter for the Raptors, and the Oklahoma City Bumpkins are kind of like, who's this rough city girl coming into our town in her leather gear, but no, she's funny, and I can tell she smokes out. It takes a stoner to know a stoner. And I know Amy's smoking the weed. I know she smokes weed, and I love her for it. That's nothing wrong with that. It should be fine. It shouldn't be taboo like it has been for so many years and stuff like that. It's herbal medicine. It's good for everyone. But yeah, I can tell she smokes out. But man, that question about Texas, I'm going to tell you right now, OG ain't got nothing to do with Texas. That is very obvious. Like, the way that he reacted to that question about, like, what's your favorite thing about going to Texas? He was so blank. He was like, no, he's probably thinking in his head, isn't this the state that's trying to get rid of abortion right now? It's like, I don't think he has a favorite thing about Texas, Amy. I think his favorite thing is going there and beating the NBA teams that play in that state. That's his favorite thing about Texas. Oh, yeah, but that was hilarious, Tom. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I might not have talked about it. And sometimes I get my cues for what I'm going to talk about from you guys. So if you see something in the game or something, anything around the game, and you want to talk about, put it in here, because I'll talk about it. I may forget about talking about it, but I'm glad you brought that up. OG ain't got nothing to do with Texas. That's for sure. We can tell. It's so good. Monty's saying Kawhi is the fun guy and OG is the odd guy. Listen, I think OG is just like, he's really a different kind of drummer, man. He's got a different kind of drummer drumming in his life than most people. And I'm here for it. I love his quirkiness. I love how he is. Like, I don't know if, like, listen, I feel like I'm semi-autistic in some ways because of some of the things that I deal with in my life with OCD and different things like that. And like, there may be some sort of something going on with OG where he's got a little bit of autism in him. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that he's a very interesting, creative person, and the way that he thinks may be a little different than the way we all think. And I'm here for it. I mean, I don't think that that's totally a bad thing, that he's such an interesting guy. He has a different kind of charisma. That's for sure. He definitely has a different kind of charisma. And, it reflects in his play now. Like, we saw more and more of him last night, being a bull, being a bully. And just like, I love that he's still so smooth and precise, like a laser with the 3-point shot if he gets it open. And just the stuff down low last night, absolutely nasty. Let me look at his box score real quick. I mean, he was 6 for 12. He shot 50%, y'all. 10 rebounds, 15 points. He got a double-double. That's fantastic. He did get 4 turnovers, but other than that, listen, they were actually really forcing turnovers on us to a degree yesterday. I didn't like. Paul B saying, I'm still mad about letting them end their 20-game losing streak versus us last year. Yeah, I've forgotten about that. Last year was such an aberration. Like, honestly, there were so many different things that happened last year that were awful for us. Like, we lost so many good win streaks against different teams. Like, we had an amazing win streak against the Philadelphia 76ers. We had a win streak against the Lakers and different things like that. And they all got messed up. So it was just a bad year for losing streaks. That's why we got to start new ones now. Oh, yeah. And if we're never going to lose again, we're going to get more streaks. Yeah. All right. Let's see what G's saying. What do you like about Texas? You know what I like about Texas? I like the Alamo. I think it's kind of cool. I went there once. I like some people don't like this, but I have driven across Texas before. When I was in high school for spring break one year, 3 buddies and me, we got a conversion van and we drove across the country in a van, and we drove all the way across Texas, across Interstate 10. And we went from, New Orleans, Houston area, straight across all the way to Phoenix. And, that's that western side of Texas. Those roads are so wide and open and desert that it's really a freedom kind of feel to be driving out there and see that landscape and all that kind of stuff. I actually really liked West Texas because I thought it was so desolate and beautiful. So I kind of like the West Texas desert. And then I like San Antonio. San Antonio is my favorite Texas city. I love the Riviera. I love the Spurs. And I love David Robinson, Tim Duncan. And, it's just a cool city in some ways. And I have memories of San Antonio. I have memories of Houston, too, that I don't particularly like. But, there's it's a weird state. It's not a state I'd ever live in just because of, things that are happening there, like with book burning and, trying to take abortion away. And, the politics there are real messed up. But, it's an interesting place. And I thought, that was the easy answer, OG. Why didn't you just say you like steak? I like steak. That's all you had to say. Let's see, Andrew. OG doesn't think much about Texas. No, he doesn't think about it at all. He's thinking about how he's going to beat the Rockets. That's about as Texas as he's thinking. He's thinking about how he's going to bull them down right at the beginning of the game and get the first basket in the game because the guy can't do nothing with him. He's too strong. Josh Giddey looked like a child next to him last night. He really I'm a man and you are a boy. And like, I am going to show you with my physicality that you are just a youngster compared to me. And you have not fully matured as an NBA player because I can do this to you and you can't do nothing about it. That's the thing. The way we played Oklahoma City last night was dominant. Like, we had tools in our box that they couldn't do jack shit to. They couldn't stop half the shit we were doing to them. And it was really just, we were a cat playing with a mouse, just beating it around. Well, we'll let you do this. We'll run around a little bit. Oh, we'll hit you again. That kind of stuff. We were really toying with them last night, which was fun. And I'm glad that it did get out of hand. Like, that Jerome guy hit those threes and that little mini run for a little bit. It got a little scary and the crowd started to wake up. But it wasn't sustained, and there really weren't that many guys on the Thunder team that were hurting us. I mean, it was really weird watching Poku do what he was doing. That Alexi guy, his name's Alexi. Oh my gosh, and such a weird character, like his body type and the way he plays and stuff. But he was bombing those threes, and he was hitting transition threes, which was kind of nasty. And I can see why Nick Nurse really likes that Alexi Pokusevsky guy, because he's really kind of got a lot of different tools and such a weird body type. He had 18 points, 7 of 9 shooting for this guy, 4 of 5 from three-point range. He was probably the guy who killed us the most, was him and that Maladon guy. And, Stevie Roots texted me halfway through the game. He's like, they have a guy playing for them named Methadone. He was like, that's only fitting. It's Oklahoma City. I'm like, what? That's messed up, man. Don't say that about that man's name. Methadone, whatever. That's wrong crack. But I kind of chuckled about it, but it's still not nice. Let's see. Tom Diggs saying, don't know what do you like? What do I like? I told y'all I like San Antonio and the desert. Or driving through the empty desert. Yeah. He's not, OG's not a fan of Texas. I thought that was so hilarious. That's just a classic moment. Thank you, Amy Audibert, for giving us that. Yeah, never losing again. Let's try and see if we can do that. We just got to be prepared night in, night out, have the right game plan, and just put in the right effort. It doesn't matter who it is. Let's see what happens on Saturday against Jokic and the Nuggets here in Toronto. Oh, yeah. I'm so looking forward to that game right now. I know we have the game tonight, but in some ways, Denver is really looming strong, but we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. Rockets first. Take care of what we got to take care of first. Clean up that little bit of trash before we go and see Denver. All right, let's see. Pascal doesn't look awkward at all anymore. It's very smooth. Yeah, I think that's part of it, is that, listen, it's cool how he's doing it. It's like a varied kind of thing. It's like he still does his little spins. He does his he has different moves, and they're varied. Like he does a spin this way. He can do an over shot over this way. He's really good at getting his shot open and moving quick. And I really love how he's like he's bombing the threes. Like when he hits a three, we usually win games. And like the stuff is he's multifaceted with how he's scoring. Like it's not ever the same move. It's like he's doing a different move to different guys and getting so. And the other thing, he's so quick to get his hand near the basket and lay it up, and just extend himself as far as he can. And it's like he makes a lot of room up quickly with a quick first step and being able to unravel his body and his arm so long that he's all of a sudden he's at the rim and he's laying it in. And these guys can't do anything about it. And it's true. He doesn't look as awkward as he used to. Like it seems sometimes at times he wasn't reading the defense well enough, and he'd spin into guys and he'd get in trouble. Now he's seeing like maybe the openings, the places where he could get to a spot, and he's just trying to get to it as quick as he can before the other guys, the defenders. And that's the thing. I think that's the difference, is before he was just trying to do the moves and not really thinking about where the defenders were, and he'd get bumped into and it looked real awkward. But now he really reads the defense better, and he's finding the holes and he's going right through them somehow, some way. So good. And it does look, it's like that's part of what I'm saying. He's more consistent as a guy now because he looks so much less awkward, so much more smooth, so much more purposeful with his motions and what he's trying to do out there. He's very, very calculating right now. And it's so fun to see him dissect the other team's defense and just kill it. Like you watch him and you see what he's going to do, and he slows down his dribble, and then all of a sudden he does a quick two-step and he's around the guy and he's laying it in. That's so fantastic for us to have. It's a super good weapon. Let's see what's going on here. Paul B saying Spicy P has turned into Ghost Pepper Peas. Yeah, we're talking about this heat index, that we could start checking in on how Pascal's doing. He says he's a ghost pepper last night. That's the heat he was bringing last night. That's a pretty hot pepper. Oh, yeah. Paul B saying he's not throwing up shots hoping they fall in anymore. They all look like they have a purpose. Even that one crazy flip-up shot that he had at one point last night, it went in real nice. It was a floater, and it went in good. So he's varied. He's got the jump shot. He can shoot that way. He can shoot with one hand. He can extend and lay in. He's all around great. He can drive. He can shoot. They don't know how to stop him. He's unstoppable at this point. This guy's going to get his points no matter what. And that's even against really good defenses too. But then when you see when he's playing a lesser defense, all of a sudden the man can be like shooting 13 of 17 from the field. He missed 4 shots last night, 13 of 17 from the field. That is insanely good. Insanely good. So proud of Pascal. 27 points, 16 rebounds. Damn, that is a nasty, nasty stat line. Oh my gosh. Tom Duke has got the emoticons going again today. That means it's been a good night. All right, let's keep going. You guys are here. All right, Sue, good morning. 7 in a row in the bag. Let's go for 8. Yeah, 8 is not totally there for sure, but I feel real good about this game tonight against the Rockets. Oh, yeah, I do. Now, listen, here's your real mascot matchup for the day, Tom Duke and everybody. All right, listen, the Raptor, he was at this field. He's Electro Raptor now. He's like surging with like energy that he just vampired off of the lightning that hit him. The thunder came down and struck him in the tail, but instead of messing him up, it made him stronger. It's almost like he absorbed the energy of the thunder, and he's now even more energized and dangerous. Well, he's walking out of the field and he sees this big, huge, weird structure, like with a weird tower next to it. It's like a rocket. It's a rocket. It's like a NASA rocket. It's sitting there and is ready to take off. But it's got all kinds of problems. It looks like it has wires hanging out. Like somebody came and pulled something out of it already. It's all messed up. But like they're still going to try and take off with it. And they're like, what? You can take off? It doesn't look ready. And the Raptor sees it and he comes running up to it. And he's like, I got to stop this from happening. So he basically just starts ripping into it more. And they say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then like when it's starting to go off, I know when you were a little kid, you may have had these rocket sets where you had the little stick and you put it down and you had to light it and it would go and it go up real fast. Well, this is what happened. They were counting it down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it went and it didn't do nothing. It just sat there. And then the Electro Raptor, like ran into the wire in this hanging out of it and just shocked it. Went and it went and then the Raptor backed off. It like backed away. He's like, whoa, because the rocket started shaking. It had all this energy in it and it blew up. It just blew up. It went, and it was like one of these epic movie scenes where the Raptor was running away and the explosion was behind him and he went flying. And that's your real Raptor mascot matchup for the day. That's what went down. The Electro Raptor blew up the rocket. Oh, yeah. And it wasn't going to take off anyway because it was all messed up. All right. All right. Anyway, it's so silly. Oh, my gosh. Tom Duke's putting peppers up, green peppers up. Not only the spicy jalapeno peppers, but the green peppers are up there too. G's saying he releases so high now over top the opponents. Earl Watson may have helped. Yeah, Earl Watson's been a huge influence on guys. Like there are different kinds of influences, the assistant coaches. Earl Watson's influencing with like, hey, maybe you should try some things just with your hands, with your feet, the way you make your first step, the way you're positioning and this. He's like more individual, like tinkerer with your like body and changing things, or maybe just even like seeing opportunities on the court and going for it. Like, listen, you had it open when you had that. Why didn't you just shoot it then? Or something like that. That's what he's telling them. And then you got Trevor Gleason, who's this mastermind of this type of offense in a system, and the one that they're doing right now. And I really, really love this flex offense because, listen, in the past few years, even when we had the championship team, our offense would struggle at different times because we didn't really have any kind of set structure to it in some ways, and we would have really hard times finding the basket at times. But the flex offense, the way that it's designed and the way that it allows guys to get open and do what they're doing, we're never going to starve for this. We're always going to be able to manufacture some points or get guys open just because of the way it works. And I really appreciate Trevor Gleason coming here and showing us how to do it and do it so well. Once again, if you want to know what I'm talking about with the flex offense, watch the Raptors when they bring the ball up the court. You'll see them do these little like pass offs or little screens off each other. And that's just part of the pattern of the flex offense getting set up. And it's all this different motion where they're coming across each other at the top of the key, at the 3-point line. And then they move it in and they do a little bit of it down low. And one of the things that happens because of this flex offense is this extra pass we're seeing. Like we saw it early last night where guys were really close to basket and then they dump it off to another guy that wasn't getting guarded and they get an easy lay-in. That's a product of the philosophy of the flex offense, that these guys had a shot and they could have gone into the contact and maybe made it still, but there's an even easier shot, a dump off shot right there. And I love that. There was so much unselfishness with it. And the one play that really personified it for me was the one where Precious had the ball and everybody's like, oh shit, look out, because he's dribbling around and he's like, do. And then he drove to the basket. And I'm like, oh fuck, what's going to happen here? And he made a really impressive pass dump off to Scotty. And Scotty made the lay-in. That was really huge. Like that showed Precious being a playmaker, not just being a selfish guy who's just going to come in there and try and bull his way and make a shot for himself. He created a shot, an easier shot for Scotty. And once again, that's part of what I'm saying with Precious, that this dude is going to be really good. Like we're seeing different things with him that are just showing stuff for the future that's going to be nasty. Like him and Scotty are both going to be badasses, like both of them. I'm serious. And we need to just keep them as long as we can because they're going to continue to develop and develop and develop. Oh, yeah. Monty Python saying, Tom, Nightmare P was egregious. Oh, man, Monty dropping these big words again. Egregious. He was egregiously hurting them. Oh, yeah, slashing and slicing them up. It's like I was thinking like our Raptors are like weapons. We have like this weapons rack. And OG's a club. It's like basically we club you first, and Pascal's a big sharp knife, and then we slash you up, and then Fred is a bazooka. He's basically a deep bomber. He's like a missile launcher. He's shooting a missile, then we shoot the missiles and deep bomb them from far away. It's like it's nasty. We got a club, a sharp knife, and then we got a missile launcher. It's like that's how we messed them up last night. The weaponry. All right, yeah, Tom, dude, dropping more celebratory emoticons, loving it. All right, let's see. Sue saying Pascal playing with fierce purpose. He has adopted OG's mantra, I don't shoot to miss. Yeah, he has been tearing it up. Like his shooting percentage and just all his stats in general are just really high up like right now. Like he is an all NBA level player, and he's going to need to get his respect. And seriously, if he continues to play like this in the next few games before the All-Star break and there is a need for an injury reserve, he's going to be a glaring omission if they don't try and pick him if they get a chance again. So it's going to be like, why? Well, how could you not pick this guy? Look at what he's doing. Oh, my gosh. G saying Pascal and Fred are only 27. I know these guys are so young. They're so young, and there's so many good years ahead. And really, I hope that our guys are smart. They don't get greedy. They take an amount of the pie for the salary as much as they can so they can all stay together as long as they can, because that's something that the NBA doesn't allow anymore. It's like whether the push and the pull from other teams coveting your players and saying, ooh, we can pay you more or something like that, or other bullshit, or like things like what happened with Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter back in the day, where they made up all this bullshit in the media about how can they both coexist. Fuck you, media, for fucking up that shit and making Tracy McGrady think that he couldn't play on a team with his cousin and coexist and be able to get good all-star stats alongside him. That was the stupid-ass mentality back then, that you couldn't have so much. That if a team has so much, obviously some other team has to come and rob them of a couple of those players. And that really is what happened with Tracy. That Tracy decided to go to Orlando because of some bullshit noise that was saying you can't play with Vince because you guys are not going to be able to share the ball. And that was fucked up bullshit. And I don't want to hear any of that kind of crap with what's going on with our guys right now, because obviously every single one of them can share the ball. But there's going to be some NBA people out there going to say, how are the Raptors going to do this when Scotty becomes more of a superstar? What's going to happen with Pascal? What's going to happen with OG? All this kind of stuff. Fuck y'all. We're going to keep them all together because we can. And there's no reason why these guys can't stay together like this. The Boston Celtics for so long kept their core of really good superstars and won like all the championships in the 1960s. We need to make sure we got to do right things with our salary cap and the smart stuff. That's why we're not making any rash decisions today on the trade deadline, because we're really thinking about what we want to keep and how we can keep them all together as long as possible. Yeah, sure. It probably will get to a point where we can't afford to keep every single one of the guys that are on the team right now, just because of the growth and development that they continue to show. But that's why we have to keep bringing in young guys that can continually bring in more and more added development to make us even better and better. But listen, I don't want to come to that road anytime soon. And as soon as anybody starts telling me some bullshit like they did Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter about OG Anunoby and Pascal and Scotty and some bullshit like that, just shut them down right away and say, yeah, we'll figure it out. We trust in Masai. We trust in Larry Tannenbaum. We trust in Bobby Webster, that they will get the money right and they will be talking to these guys like people, not like adversaries, and saying, we love you. We want you to stay. We want to keep this core together, but we can't give you as much as somebody else can give you. But will you take just a little bit less money to stay with us? And I hope that that is what happens, because it happened with Fred already, and different players are going to, take a little bit of a discount just so we can keep the band together, because they see the value in winning. And they see that, like, once again, Fred and Chris and players that develop with us that owe a lot to our organization, giving a chance to us and getting them to the point that they're at now. They know that if they go to other teams, they may get mistreated. They may get shit on and treated really poorly. And at least they know what they get when they're here with the Raptors. You could go to Portland, see what it's like playing for Portland right now. Oh yeah. It's stuff like that I'm talking about. Yeah, Monty Python's saying Amy's so cool, man. I'm so glad Amy's on the broadcast. Me too. She is cool. She's a different kind of person for our sideline reporter. And like, I like it. I like that she had that quirky little moment, that weird, awkward moment with OG. Some people are like, cringe, but I'm like, this is OG. This is OG. This is a simple question, but he's like, no, it does not compute. And like, no, you know what? I think that this is what it was, that Amy asked him a question that he's never actually ever thought about in his entire life. What do I like about Texas? I don't think he's ever thought that thought in his entire life once. So that's why she caught him on the spot, because he's like, I don't think I have, he probably didn't have anything, It's so funny. Oh, man, it was so good. Raymond Jacob, good morning. Always good to see you, my friend. Pascal is balling, but don't jump the gun. Pascal needs to redeem himself first in a playoff series. He still owes us for Boston. Man, all right, first, I don't disagree with some of what you're saying, but first of all, he doesn't owe us anything. Let's not get it twisted. He messed up in the not conditioning, and yeah, the Boston series was a bad thing for him. But this is the thing. He's coming back so strong and so hard. And yes, you're right. We need to see how he operates and how he does under the super, super hard pressure lights of the playoffs. But I have full confidence in him, honestly, because in some ways he's shown in the last week or so with this crazy streak against the Eastern Conference top teams, the Miami games, the Chicago game, even the Atlanta games to a degree, that he can deal with really tough kind of pressure and situations. And those were playoff intensity type games. So we can expect him to be at that level in the playoffs also. I really believe so. But you're right. Maybe I am getting a little ahead of myself. And we do really actually need to have that confirmed when we do get the playoffs and see what's happening then. But I don't think so. I don't think he's a choke artist anymore. I think that if you really pay attention to the way that Fred and Pascal are carrying themselves, the way they're operating within the team, like what Alvin said last night was really, really important. He said that Fred's like Bernard Hopkins, the old boxer. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Bernard Hopkins. And he said basically he's the kind of guy who will hang out with you for a couple rounds, and then all of a sudden, and later in the match, he'll just start hitting you, and then all of a sudden you're out. And that's the kind of thing. Fred's kind of like this cold snake waiting throughout the game. He picks his spots, but then when he sees the time, he pounces and he absolutely kills you late. Oh, yeah, with those dagger threes. And that's the thing. They're carrying themselves with a certain kind of professionalism and an understanding of what that intensity is going to be in the playoffs. And I think they're building towards it, and they're going to be more ready than ever. I mean, the thing about it that's going to be really crucial is passing out of the double team. That in the past, Pascal had a really bad playoff because he was so poor at getting the ball out of the double team and getting trapped. And if he can do a better job of making sure that he gets the ball away from him before they come and trap him in the playoffs this year, he's going to have all kinds of success. And right now, he's showing it. Like his passing out of the double team and the assists he's getting right now is showing that this is the difference between the old Pascal in the playoffs and the Pascal now. Is he's much better at reading the double team and getting the ball, the open guy, out of it instead of holding on to it and trying to go through like 2 or 3 defenders, which is what he was doing before. He's like making it super hard on himself, trying to beat like 2 or 3 guys. And that was why he looked so bad, even in that bubble series. Like that's part of it right there. But yeah, I think you're right. You're right. I need to see him tested for sure to make absolute sure. But I feel real good about that. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. Sue's saying, I love OG's reaction. It was a weird question. It was like she was setting him up to get another OG gem. Well, she did in a way. It's hilarious. There's so much gold in the interviews, whether it's the press conference interviews after the game, like Chris coming in with the lollipop the other night and wearing his crazy glasses and his headphones up on his head and just like how he carries himself, or like Gary the other day when he wore those glasses and they asked him a question and he just froze for a second, but he was just completely still. And because he had the glasses on, they couldn't see him blinking or anything. They thought that the connection to the internet had frozen, and they're like, oh, you're frozen. And they were waiting for him to talk, but he was just sitting there still and he hadn't frozen. He was just being really chill and really cool. There's a lot of entertainment in these interviews and stuff like that, whether it's the one after the game with Amy or in the press conferences. There's some silly shit going on. It's really funny, actually. So, all right, let's keep going. Paul B, it felt nice to watch a game and be in control 100% of the time. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. I'm sure Callie's stress meter wasn't too bad last night. This is the thing. They come back and they make little runs here and they get a little closer, and then we just pour a little bit more on top. They never actually tied us. They never actually came real close. I think what was the closest they got to us? Maybe 3 points at one point. They got as close as 3 points, but then right away we scored some more. And then, the margin for the most part was double digits for most of the game. But I have to give them credit because they didn't give up last night. They tried really hard throughout the whole entire game to continually come back. But our defense is just so nasty. And they didn't shoot very well. Like the Thunder don't shoot very well. And we did really good on Dort. Like, he wasn't anywhere near the 40 points we thought he might get. He got 15 points, 4 of 14 shooting, and he had 6 turnovers, y'all, last night. So that's a sign of OG-itis if I've ever heard of it. 4 of 14 from the field and 6 turnovers. Yeah, OG-itis right there. G saying, my nephew has Asperger's, and OG definitely may be. My nephew is hilarious in the same way. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. We don't know everything about everybody in different ways. And, like, there's been different places where I've thought, OG, there's something special about him in certain ways. And, there's nothing wrong with it. Then now there's more awareness and more understanding about everything like that. People can understand that people are just quirky naturally for different reasons, and just allow them to be themselves. And I love OG. Like, OG's amazing. Like, you can tell. The weird thing about him is that you can really tell that he's a real student of the game, that he's really studying and stuff like that. And maybe he just focused on very certain compartments in his life, whether it's music, whether it's style, whether it's, having fun with his teammates and video games and just basketball. He has very certain interests, you can tell. But yeah, let's see. Monty Python say, love OG, man. So glad he's a part of the organization. Yeah. I mean, honestly, he's a fantastic teammate. He's a lot of fun. I'm sure that like somebody like Scotty, think about it. He's basically with his older brothers, his first team in the NBA, hopefully his only team he ever plays on in the NBA. And like these guys are so important. Like Pascal is teaching him so much and being a role model for him. Fred is like an active coach, teaching him, telling him, disciplining him. And then OG, you got like a fun older guy who you can pal around with, but also learn from also. That's a really good crew for somebody like Scotty to learn really good habits. Like, that's the thing. We talked about it yesterday. If he'd gone to Orlando, what kind of habits would he be learning? He wouldn't be learning the winning type habits that he's learning from Pascal and Fred in this organization. You go to a shittier team, Scotty, and you don't learn how to win. So you're really lucky you're on the Raptors and you're with professors of the game like Pascal and Fred that can teach you how to win and teach you right from the start. because you can be in a shitty team. This is how some players' careers get fucked up. They get drafted to the wrong team. They're really good, but if they got drafted to a better team, a playoff team, they wouldn't have had all the pressure. Their development would have been way different. They may have gotten better knowledge. They would have learned winning right away early on in their career instead of having to learn how to win later because they're on a lottery team and not a very good team for their first couple years. And then they go to a team after their rookie contract that's kind of good, and they still have to learn more then. Scotty's getting it right from the ground started, and that's going to be a huge thing. That's the difference between him and Cade Cunningham, really. Like, if you think about it, Cade Cunningham has certain vets on the team with him and Coach Casey, but he doesn't have the kind of people, the resources that, like Fred VanVleet or Pascal Siakam, so that's a big difference right there. Let's keep going. Raymond Jacobs saying, yeah, OG's definitely on some spectrum. Well, who knows what it is? He could be just a quirky kind of dude. But I don't want to say this for sure. It's just something that, it struck me at some point. It's like, maybe this is part of it. And, it's not a bad thing or a good thing or either way. It's just what it is. And so I have no problem with it. Gee, brilliant and focused. Just doesn't have time for people when they ask odd questions. Can't hide it. Yeah, there's no filter. Some of it's really good. Like, listen, I don't know. It's hard to write questions, interviews for like these press conferences. Like, there's so many tired questions that get asked over and over again. So these guys, they try and ask different kinds of questions here and there, different weird stuff. And, sometimes the Raptors ain't having it. The one thing I really love about this week, and like every single person that's been asked, whether it's Nick Nurse, Pascal, Chris Boucher, Fred VanVleet, they're all saying the same damn thing. They don't give a shit that it's the trade deadline. All the other people are all flipping out. Oh, the trade deadline, 3:00 today. Oh my gosh, the trade deadline. What do you think of the trade deadline? Oh, like, somebody asked Nick Nurse, it's like, what do you think about tomorrow? Tomorrow's a big day. He's like, what? Yeah, every day's a big day. He's like, he didn't even realize it's the trade deadline. These guys are in another world compared to the speculators and the trade machine people that really want something to happen. Ooh, something happened. Well, go watch the Harden sweepstakes. Go watch these other things that other teams are doing, because you're not going to get any show with the Raptors. It's evident that we're not going to do anything unless we move Goran Dragic sometime today before 3:00. And, I love that every single one of them said the same thing. It's like, we don't give a shit that it's the trade deadline. We're working on our game. We're working on winning. We're looking at what we're doing on the court. We are not focused in the least on this trade deadline. And obviously, none of them are worried about getting traded. So I love it. And I love that all of them, all those guys, Pascal, same thing. He's like, I'm just doing my job. I'm working on my game. I'm playing games. I let them do their job, is what he said. Fred said, I'm not a trade guy. I don't want anybody to get traded. I'd like our guys on the end of the bench to just do better and play better. And Chris Boucher, he's like, there's a trade deadline going on. I don't care. Like, I'm just playing. I'm just worried about what I'm doing on the court. It's the same thing. And that's why I'm sick of these guys. Aaron Rose, Josh Lewenberg, all these guys who just continually ask about the trade deadline. Just let it go, y'all. You're not going to get your little piece to write about or anything like that, or any of your predictions. It's all been hot air and stupid, Anyway, all right, let me keep going. Let's see. Paul B saying, latest tweet going around is 3-team trade, maybe between Knicks, Lakers, Raptors, Goran, and picks for and Raptors get THT and Nerlens Noel. Wow. Those are actually not bad players to get in certain ways. I think the one thing that I took from Bobby Webster's press conference a couple days ago is that he's going to only add guys that fit our mold. And that's basically meaning that he only wants somebody who's going to look like the guys we're doing with the positionless basketball. So you can take any kind of short guards off the list. You can probably take any big clunky centers that can't run up and down the court off the list. That he just wants wings, guys around 6'7", 6'9", with very long arms, and that's all he's adding to this team. He said that they have to fit the mold. That's literally what he said. And so we know what the mold is. So any move he makes is going to be getting somebody that fits that mold, that will fit in with our positionless scheme. He said that. And that he's not going to make anything stupid just for the sake of doing something. So I've heard about that tweet also this morning, Paul, the one with those 3 teams and talking about that and stuff like that. We'll see. Good morning, Kyrie. Good to see you, man. Always good to see you. Let's see. Cam can't be traded, I don't think. He was just traded, and he was part of that rumor. Will be interesting. Okay, are you talking about Cam? or no, Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is part of that deal. Yeah, he just got traded from Atlanta to New York, and maybe too quick that they can't do the turnaround. Yeah, once again, there's probably flaws in all these things. People are getting their trade machines out. We'll see. The Harden Simmons thing looked like it's probably going to happen today, though. That's what I'm hearing, is that James Harden's going to just get traded for Ben Simmons, and that's going to fix both those problems with those two teams. Maybe, probably not. It probably won't fix those problems. All right, let's see. Monty Python. People, I think OG may not know a damn thing about Texas. He's from UK. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, Monty, he is from the UK, but he grew up in the Midwest. Like, his dad is a doctor, or was a doctor in the Midwest, I think in Missouri. Like, he grew up kind of near Texas, and to a degree. He lived somewhere in there in the middle, like when they immigrated here in high school, and then he went to Indiana. But yeah, his family is actually based in Missouri, I want to say, which is a little weird. But yeah, he probably doesn't know anything about Texas still, even though he's saying he's like lived in Missouri or something. I forget where OG lived. I know it's where his dad or his family lives now. Let's see. G's saying, why wouldn't the Raps just make a direct trade with the Knicks for Cam if he can be traded? They want the Goran contract in our picks. Why help the Lakers unless Masai really wants THT? Yeah. Once again, this could be just for naught. Why are we talking about this? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't agree with helping the Lakers either. So why don't we just deal directly with the Knicks? But once again, I don't care if we do anything. Honestly, even if we don't move Goran, let's just keep the money for ourselves this summer. Let's put it all in layaway, and let's have this money available to do something with our own direction this summer with who's free agent, stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm glad the trade deadline is going to pass today, and then most of this stupid noise will die down. We don't have to talk about it anymore. Just stay focused. Honestly, the trade deadline is actually working in our favor because we are probably inside. Everybody knows nothing's going to happen. But meanwhile, other teams, like I've said in the last couple of days, they're all worried, looking over their shoulders, and that may be part of the reason why we're on such a great win streak compared to everybody else, because they're all kind of freaking out a little bit. Let's see. Monty Python, Trent, OG, Fred VanVleet put an end to OKC's mini run. Yeah, they really did. Like, it's just like I said, once again, these guys are doing winning plays, different guys at different times, at different ends of the court, at all different kinds of ways, just to make sure we win. Whether it's a big shot, a good defensive stop, a big rebound, a steal, whatever. Like Gary, once again, like so masterful with these steals and just getting back and laying it up. It's just a lot of fun in the game last night. A lot of good, fun things happening all around. Let's see. Pokemon. Pokemon. Is that what you guys were talking about Pokemon yesterday? And that's what you meant, that I should have been talking about Pokemon then. Was the Poku guy. It's a weird guy. He really is a weird talent. And he could be really good. He actually might fit with our system really well. Let's see. Paul B., I think another tweet source said Nurkic was on the table too. Yeah, Nurkic is a name that we keep hearing. I don't mind it. He is a little bit slow for our regular rotations and what we do. So he'd really be a specialty player that we bring in to just play against big guys. I don't think he would be a regular, a lot of minutes kind of guy. He'd just kind of be on the bench. Kyrie saying, I would love Nerlens Noel from the Knicks and THT from the Lakers. A three-way trade would be great. Those are both players that are pretty good. I have no problem with getting Nerlens Noel. I've seen his athleticism and the different things he can do. He definitely fits in our positionless scheme. THT is a good scorer, a good swingman. I haven't seen a whole lot of him, obviously, because he's on the Lakers, and I don't know how well he's been doing with them. And also stuff like that. But, we'll see. Once again, we'll see. Hopefully just 3:00 happens and something will happen by then. People will be happy, or nothing happens and I'll be happy. Either way, we're going to win. Monty Python saying, people, I'm blazing this island cherry from a native company. Smells like a bowl of cherries. Well, Monty Python, call Amy Audibert over there. She'd probably get down with that. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see. It's unreal. Yeah. Stay with reality, bro. 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 Sorry, I'll stop that. All right, Tom Duke. Yes, let's go. I hope you like my mascot matchup, the rocket ship. Monty Python saying, I noticed Birch isn't getting much playing time. Wonder if the mask is messing with him. No, I think it's really that, once again, it's hard to cram these guys into the rotation because the starters are really soaking up so much of the minutes, is sponging them up. And then, he has to give time to Chris and Precious. Those guys are playing out of their mind. They've been playing really well. And it's really trying to fit him in there with that. And, Kem had a little bit of trouble last night in the game. He had a turnover and he didn't play a whole lot, but he had an assist, a rebound, and a block. He had that one really nice block. That's the one thing I like is like we get different blocks from different guys, and they always seem like they're kind of late blocks sometimes. Like somebody's beat us, they're going to the basket, and then all of a sudden one of our guys like Scotty or Kem comes up and just boom, knocks it out of there. And all of a sudden, and sometimes I worry it's goaltending, but most of the time it's nice, clean blocks. And we had a few of them last night, really good blocks where we got beat and we recovered and still stopped them from scoring. Really good stuff. But yeah, let's give Bert some time. Maybe they're waiting for him to heal a bit more, and then maybe he will take the mask off and he'll feel more comfortable and play better. But he's not in any hurry. It's just nice to have him back. And, he's going to there'll be a game where he gets more minutes in some point. Like they're really just bouncing it to win. They want to win games, and that's what we're all about. And Nick's doing a really good job with the rotations because of that too. So click 2 a.m. We might get THT and Nerlens Noel for Goran Dragic and a pick or two. Yeah, you guys will keep bringing this up. There must be some real buzz to this. Let's see. Tom Duke. Oh my gosh, intense. Whoa, messed up rocket. Yeah. The rocket was never going to take off. There was an invisible wall above it that you couldn't see. Wall. Yeah, an invisible wall above it. Like even if it had tried to take off, it would hit that wall and just fell right back down. Let's see. Click 2 a.m. Apparently Masai loves Tucker. He's just in a bad situation. He sees a lot of potential. Yeah, being on the Lakers is a bad situation. Kyrie, I feel like Pascal would be dropping Embiid stats every night if he was on any other team. He doesn't get respect from the refs to get to the line. I don't know about that. I think that he'd probably get the same on different teams. I know that, it seems like they're really like punished the Raptors in the past, the refs, but I think they're actually really respectful to us at this point. I think a lot of it was Kyle. Like this year has been totally different with the refs than last year. Last year, remember, like every single game last year, we got a technical. Like it was like, it seemed like if we pick a different Raptor to get a technical every single game last year. Like Yuta got a technical at this point, or this person got a technical. Nick Nurse would get a technical. Lowry would get a technical just out of the blue. We didn't even realize why or anything like that. I think that the Lowry factor not being on our team has really helped us with the refs. And I can see Fred really being the diplomat with the refs and doing a good job. Like all of them are talking to the refs and they're doing a good job, I think, of politicking and saying that we want this because they are getting more calls. We're getting more kinds of calls and stuff like that. But I think just in general, the refs are letting us play like wide open more. They're swallowing the whistle. They're letting more physicality happen unless there's just a really egregious foul where there's like really hard contact. Then, like, what I really liked last night? This is symptomatic of what I'm talking about right now. That play with Dort where he hit Scotty in the face. They saw Scotty holding his face afterwards, and they went and reviewed it. And it wasn't like Nick Nurse was or Matt Devlin was like, "Oh, is it a coach's challenge?" It's like, no, that's not a coach's challenge, Matt. That is them taking it upon themselves to review whether it's a flagrant. And they came out with the right decision, and they gave us they gave them a flagrant, and we got free throws and the ball. That was the right call. But in the past, maybe the refs would be like, no, this is the Raptors or stuff like that. But they actually gave it to us. So I think they are being more fair. Like, and oh, guys, we need to talk about this. The Raptors were perfect from the free throw line last night. They were 14 for 14. They didn't miss a single free throw last night. And I was so proud of them for that. That was so good. And I think the refs are actually pretty fair right now. They're doing a good job for the most part. I'm not that upset with them. I mean, it's easy for me to say when we're winning also, but they're doing, I think they're really are trying to make the refs seem more on the up and up. There's just certain refs I don't like that are still fishy, but it seemed like it was pretty good last night. But I don't know if he was on another team, it's really like accrued over time respect. Like Fred and Pascal at this point, now Fred's an all-star. And before the game, I saw Fred hugging the refs. Like they know him, they love him. They're like, hey, refs, come hug. That's good that he can hug the ref, and stuff like that. But they've seen them. They played around. They ref games of theirs for years now. They've seen them work. Maybe they've seen where they came from, like where Pascal was like 3 or 4 years ago, Fred was, and they've seen their growth and they respect them. So maybe that's part of it also. You earn respect in the league. You don't get it as a rookie. You don't get it as a developing player. But when you show growth and you become like a player that you develop into, like what Pascal and Fred have done, then the refs probably do actually really respect you and maybe look out for you a little bit more because they've seen the hard work you did and maybe like how bad you went through the fire with not getting calls and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's tough to say. If he was on another team, probably like the Lakers, yeah, you're probably right. If he was on a team like that they really try and take care of, that they probably he would get more calls. But I think we have a much better relationship with the refs now. We do. Since Lowry left, I really do feel like that. I feel like Lowry was a big problem for us with the refs. Okay, click 2 a.m. I just keep refreshing Instagram. He just wants to know when this deal is happening. Click 2 a.m. is just on the pulse of it. You know, I like to refresh Twitter, and it's basically like the main guys like Lewinberg, Murphy, and Grange. I'm refreshing them all the time because I know they'll get it out there as quick as possible as soon as it happens. True. Pascal had 0 free throws last night. Let me see that. Is that true? Yeah, he had 0 free throws last night. That's crazy. But you know what? It may be also a symptom of that he was just that good last night that these guys couldn't stop him because he shot a high percentage. Like I said, he shot like 13 for 17, only missed 4 shots. That means that maybe they weren't getting to him or being physical with him enough because of a lot of what he was operating, he was smooth. He was getting through there. He wasn't getting a super amount of contact. So then maybe that was actually true that he didn't get any free throws because he was beating them so bad that they didn't even get a chance to come and foul him, that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I didn't realize he didn't have any free throws. It doesn't make sense in some ways, but hey, listen, he didn't need them. So, yeah, I know you guys think it's criminal and stuff like that, but I really think it's what I just said, that he was so good offensively. He beat them so bad. They didn't even have a chance to come foul him. So, Paul B, 100% of the line was incredible, though. Yeah, really good. All those guys did it. You know, even Chris, 3 for 3. Gary, 4 for 4. Gary sometimes misses one for some reason. And Scotty, listen, the rookie is 6 for 6 at the line last night. Scotty is a good free throw shooter. We've seen him hit these clutch free throws to put us in overtime against Miami. He makes his free throws. I think that the free throws that he missed earlier in the season were really more like rookies just feeling himself out, how to play in an NBA arena with a visiting a crowd that's against you behind, trying to do crazy stuff, learning that concentration and stuff. And now he's deadly. I am going to predict right now that Scotty Barnes is going to be like an 80% free throw shooter for his career. He's going to be above 80% free throw shooter. He's going to be a very good free throw shooter. He'll be like a free throw shooter like Fred, because I can tell just from his technique and the fact he went 6 for 6 last night, he's really taking it seriously. He's going to be a dependable free throw shooter. I can tell. Let's keep going. Click 2 a.m. saying Precious needs to learn how to finish his shots at the rim. He leaves them very short a lot of times. Yeah, you know what? I once again, I'm not going to diss Precious or anything like that because he's such a project. He's so working it out. Like I said, I love the fact that he dumped that pass off to Scotty when he drove to the lane. And that just shows really good decision making. You know, he's not perfect. You know, these guys make rookie mistakes. We've seen Scotty and Delano making rookie mistakes still in the middle of the games and stuff like that. And, you know, Precious, I want him to have the green light to do whatever the fuck he wants out there, whether it's shoot threes, put the ball on the floor, pass it around. He's just as good as all these other guys. It just needs time to develop and get more and more reps doing it and feeling more confident. Because honestly, we don't want to put him in a box and say, you can't shoot threes. You can't dribble the ball. You can't pass the ball. You can't go to the basket. You can't do this stuff, because he needs to develop to be an all-around player, just like Scotty, just like Pascal, just like OG, that can do all of it. And that the more that we're confident in him being able to do every single aspect that I just talked about, the more nasty and better we'll be, because we'll have another one of these 5-tool guys that can do everything. So I am totally for giving him a margin of error, he'll learn and keep learning, even if he fails here and there, because like there's more good stuff he's bringing than him messing up and causing problems for us. Like it's not like he's being that disruptive or hurting us to the point where we're losing games. So let him have that room to fail or succeed is what I'm saying. And I love it. Let's see. Tom Duke saying Monty always cracking me up. Tons of emoticons today. Paul B saying I like OG's confidence saying he had better everything. Yeah, I love that too. He's like, she asked him that question at the end of the game. It's like, what do you think is the difference? And like in some ways it's true, but in some ways it isn't, because in some ways he was more offensive minded. He was a better scorer at different times. It's something weird about OG this year is more physical. He's definitely way more physical. And I think it's because of the positionless stuff that in the past we've had to have him be more finesse and trying to get by guys, shoot over guys, slasher stuff. But now that we have this positionless scheme where he's often the guy who gets the mismatch and we're lobbing the ball to him down low right away, and he's just putting it back in over shorter guys, smaller guys, weaker guys, that we're seeing that part of that game more often. But I agree with what he said. I think that he's got himself better in all kinds of different areas of the game, and that it's like in some ways he could blossom and become a more consistent guy, like I was just talking about Pascal's gotten to right now. Like night in, night out, maybe we can expect OG to do certain things for us no matter what, consistently. Same thing with Fred, same thing with Pascal. That's a big thing, is consistency. That our team has had problems. Different guys would jump up and be the person, the hero for the night. But now if we could have a consistent baseline of output from our main superstars, and then we get gravy from everybody else, or Gary comes out and has a 40-point night, and Pascal does what he always does, Fred does what he always does, OG does what he always does, that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about the possibilities of reaching new levels of consistency among our top, our leaders and the guys who have been here the longest. So let's keep going. Soldier, good morning. Good to see you again. Suggs with Orlando is an example. Yeah, you're getting back to my point of like when you're a rookie and you come in the league and you're on a bad team, you don't get the education that you could get. That's the fallacy of the lottery system, is that you're going to go to a shitty team with a bad record if you're a high draft pick. And that means right from the bat, right from the start, you're going to get developed in a system that you may be the most talented person. You may be the person that is teaching everybody else around you, even though you're the rookie and you just showed up. And I think Suggs is a great example of what we're talking about, Soldier. He's good that you brought him up. And that could have been Scotty Barnes very easily if we had done what the NBA wanted us to do and taken Jalen Suggs, and Scotty Barnes would have been the 5th pick for Orlando, and he would be in a much different situation. He would not be fast tracking his development as an NBA player. He may be really dominant and putting some crazy stats up, but he won't be learning the little things about winning. And that's the difference. I'm a fun guy. Laugh out loud. Trust me, Alexi, they all give a shit about the trade deadline. No, they don't. No, they don't. Trust me, they don't. I know that you think that and stuff like that, but I really feel like our team on the down low, underneath and behind the scenes, is so open with each other. That this is the thing that, like, part of the reason why teams have problems is that they don't trust the ownership. They don't trust the GM. They don't trust the coach. They don't trust their teammates. So the Raptors is really important to have a general level of all-around trust. Trust between your GM, trust between your ownership, trust between your coach, everybody trusts each other. And these guys would tell them straight up. Like Bobby Webster he said, I'm not going to do anything frivolous. I like this core. We're doubling down with them. And it could be that they had a team meeting and they said, listen, this is the reality of it, guys. We may make a deal, but it's more likely to just be something with Goran. And, if we are going to trade one of y'all, we'll let you know way ahead of time. But I'm going to tell you right now, we're probably not going to move any of y'all. So you shouldn't be worried. And I really do feel like that's how open they are with the guys. Like in other teams, they're going to be hiding stuff, like the Knicks or like Portland. Like, you think they're going and talking to their players as they ship them out like they're doing right now? That's the thing. We're a family, and I think there's a much more open and honest communication between Bobby Webster and Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam than we actually know. That these guys are actually consulted on draft picks. They're talked to about like maybe who they want to acquire. What would you think if we got this player THT on our team? I'll bet you they go to them and talk to them about possibilities. That they're keeping them in the loop, because I really get that feeling. And when they say they don't think about it, they really are tunnel vision. Like, they're completely worried about the games and prepping for the games, being ready for game time, and just executing in the games. That's all they're worried about. They're laser focused. I really believe that. I know you think that they're full of shit for that, but I really do believe that they're telling the truth. that they are laser focused on the games, and they're allowed to because they've had a reassurance from management somehow, some way. Like it could be even Masai telling them straight up, like, no, you guys, you're okay. Don't worry. If he tells you that, you're going to believe him, right? I mean, I know he said something to DeMar and something else happened like a week later, but, that's a very, very rare case. Like, it's very much like probably like very divulging of what they're wanting to do with their plan and understanding everything, So, all right, let's see. Click 2 a.m. The league is all about situation. If we transform Dragic into pieces that help us, then do it. Yeah, it's just waiting for the right move. And you see, part of the problem is that people are probably saying, yeah, we'll take Dragic, but we also want Pascal, or, oh, we also want OG or something like that. And they're asking for more. And he's really kind of like, yeah, we're not going to listen to you about any of our core important people. Because, like, honestly, it's not a good trade to trade a good guy on our team for another good guy on another team. Because, first of all, our good guy is already established and fits and is fine. And there's no telling with another good guy. Like, it could be some name and everybody be like, whoa, we need to get this person. They're so much better. They make us so much better. I'm like, no, fuck that. Like, just keep this chemistry going, because you can make little changes like that and it completely throws everything off. And in some ways, what's happening right now with the trade talk is exactly like the Jalen Suggs talk last year, that the NBA sees the Raptors has something really good brewing and cooking up here, and they want us to make a mistake. They want us to make moves and bust it up and mess it up. And that's part of the reason why they push this narrative that the Raptors need this, the Raptors need that. Well, what if we don't need jack shit? And it's just the NBA press gaslighting us and telling us, oh, you need to do this, need this, because they hope that we make a mistake and get rid of one of our good players that we have and have a failure of a trade. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. Be real careful about that kind of stuff, because like the Suggs talk was exactly that. It was subterfuge. It was to misdirect us from not getting Scotty Barnes. And part of the trade talk right now that's being generated by the NBA, the rumors that have to do with the Raptors, is that they see us rolling. They see us in a really good place with a good core, good synergy, and they want to fuck it up by saying y'all need to make a move. Oh, well, you still need a center and all this kind of stuff. So let's just drown that noise out. Let's not even listen to it, because we're whole as one right now. Because we are showing that we can beat teams with who we have right now. We do not need anyone. We don't need somebody to come save us or do anything like that. We let it play out for the rest of the season, see how we do in the playoffs. And if we don't do well in the playoffs, we get like a glaring hole or something, then we adjust in the offseason then. But right now, no, we don't need to do nothing, especially if he's going to hamstring us with some future contract that we really didn't want. And we only did a move just because everybody said we needed to make a move. So, yeah, this is really where I'm at with all this, that like it's that kind of thing. Let's see. I'm a fun guy. You can't avoid it. It's just naturally an event hanging over everyone. Yeah, I agree. That's true in general over the whole NBA. But I think the Raptors are a special case. That really, seriously, this is something smart that they probably think in their heads. Like, we can maximize our team's potential during the trade deadline period because we can give them this bonus by giving them peace of mind. And that other teams may have, this may be a strategic choice, that the Raptors want to be as open as possible internally with their players about the trade deadline so that they can completely focus on the game. And that's a strategic advantage against every single other team in the league because of what you're saying, that it is something that just hangs over everyone. That if we can figure out a way to make that an advantage, why wouldn't we do that? This is the smartness of our team. That Masai and Bobby would say, we're going to put everybody on the same page so nobody's worried. And meanwhile, everybody else is shaky and worried. And we can just really focus. And that, like I'm saying, this is part of what's happening with our win streak, especially with the Eastern Conference teams last week. That, there may be different things going on with those teams internally. They're like, oh, trade deadline. But all of our guys are confident. That's what I'm saying. So that to me, if I was Masai Ujiri, I would want to make that an advantage, especially if you didn't really intend to make a huge deal or do anything crazy. Like these people are saying, trade two of our rotational guys to get two rotational guys from the Lakers or something like that. Make big moves. No. It doesn't make any sense right now. We have a really good team that's clicking. You don't want to mess that up. Yeah, let's see. Monty Python saying we need more veteran leadership at the 5 spot, a role model to show players how to do center things more efficiently. I think that Kem's really good at that. He's already that role model. Like he does center things efficiently. He does. He does boxing out. He does really good help defense. He does good team defense, rim protection, good defensive rebounding, good offensive rebounding, and incredible screen setter. So I think that we have that. I think Kem is that. Like in general, he's the prototypical kind of center kind of duties is what his skill set is. And Precious and Chris are learning from him and vice versa in different ways. Like Kem said, he's learning from Precious this week. But no, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that Kem is that already. And Scotty, too. He's learning how to be a center from Kem and learning how to be more center stuff from Kem and Chris and Precious himself. So Monty's saying you need that to fully convert to positionless because they all have to know center things to do it. Yeah, I think that we do have guys that are really good at center things, like 6 or 7 guys that do it. Like Pascal and OG have had to do center things in the last year. So they know how to body up with the center or try and do physical things with centers down low defensively. So I'm not totally sure exactly what you're trying to say. But, in a way, the center has no place in a positionless scheme. That, like, it really is exactly what we're doing with all power forwards and wings. The center actually has no place because he's not fast enough in some ways for our positionless scheme. So a veteran center will show these positionless players the tools and craft of a center. Yeah, I think that it's happening already. Like I said, I think it's Kem, and he really does all the center kind of stuff really well, like fundamentally well. So if we need that kind of stuff, he's kind of the guy we plug in for that. But even Scotty's got the right body, and he'll learn more and more. He'll get better at it. Because, like, honestly, I think Scotty is a defensive center right now. The way who he's playing and what he's doing out there is like defensive center. So let's keep going. Paul B, I hope the Bulls and Heat don't get any better, or the Sixers or the Nets. Listen, everybody's making a big deal out of this deal that Cleveland just made to get LeVert. I don't see this as being that much better or anything. Like, I feel like everything that Cleveland's been doing is just shuffling in and out different players that are kind of interchangeable, whether it's Rubio for Rondo, different things like that. That LeVert move does not scare me, guys. I'm sorry. LeVert is a talented dude, and everybody's saying, "Oh, we need to get LeVert on our team." I'm like, I'm not that impressed or excited about that. He's not a super great shooter, LeVert. He's very athletic and he can do different things, but I don't think that he makes them that better. I think that Cleveland is just having a real renaissance right now because, first of all, Kevin Love is playing better than he's played in years this year, all of a sudden. Garland and Sexton, when he was around, they were both really deadly combo. And this rookie Mobley has really pushed them up. And obviously, Jared Allen has being finally on the team for a little while, more comfortable. He's excelling and getting better too. They're nasty, but like they still don't scare me in general in some ways. And I don't think the LeVert move, just because they did that move, means everybody else, oh no, everybody's got to rush and make a move also. Like sometimes what happens around the trade deadline, you got to keep up with everybody. No, I think that's bullshit half the time. Because once again, our development and our strides and our progress getting better and better comes from developing and our players just individually getting better and better. And Pascal's getting better right now. Fred's getting better right now. OG's getting better right now. Scotty, Precious, these guys are all getting better. Like they're getting better as we go. So I don't like making a move just to make a move just because other teams are making moves and we're worried about it. And what you're saying is those teams like the Bulls and the Heat, I don't know, man, they're pretty hamstrung. They did all their big moves in the offseason last year, and they kind of got all their guys that they want right now. The Sixers make that deal to get Harden. That could be really interesting, trading Ben Simmons for Harden, and then all of a sudden Harden's on their team at the end of today. But once again, I think James Harden hurts the team wherever he goes. Like he may mess up Philadelphia. That'd be great. Trade them. And Ben Simmons doesn't do jack shit for the Nets, really. And, Harden screws up a Sixers season that's going real well because of Embiid. That's what I see could happen if they'd make this deal today, that Harden comes in and completely screws up their chemistry in Philadelphia. So that's what I'm hoping. Egregious foul. Ha ha. Let's see. Gee, I think Raps had the most techs last season. I think that might be right too. We did have a lot of techs. It seemed like we had a tech every single game. And if I was in Tampa playing like that, I would be cussing, being in trouble too. It's messed up. It's like they were kicking us while we were down already. Oh yeah, you feel bad? All right, here's $15,000 fine, or like $1,000. I think is how much a tech costs, or something like that. They cost money. That's the other thing is when you get technical fouls, you have to pay a fine, which is so messed up. That's part of the reason why I think the NBA is fascist, because they can make these technicals up and make them, the players have to pay money out of their pocket over some manufactured bullshit sometimes. So let's keep going. Sue, I will believe who we get when we get them. I just heard another rumor that the Westbrook will go to the Pistons for Grant and Olnick. I guess we'll see. Well, let's just get this all out of the way. 3 o'clock can't come fast enough. All these people get their little rushes of like, ooh, trades, woo, 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 woo. And then hopefully it'll all be over and we can go back to normal. But I'm with you, Sue. Let's just wait and see what happens. Trust in Messiah and Bobby. Paul B, we get all-star calls now. Yeah, I think so. I think that Fred and Pascal are getting more all-star kind of calls, for being superstars and stuff like that. And he didn't get into the foul line last night, which is weird. But like I said, it may be that he was just beating them so bad that they didn't even get a chance to get to him and foul him. So Knicks maybe trading for Westbrook. I'm seeing them asking for Miles Turner too. Yeah, I'm gonna be so glad when 3 o'clock happens, and then we could just stop doing this. This really is the time of the year I hate the most, because honestly, even when we make a deal, I just get sad, because it means usually like somebody like Jonas is leaving, and I feel really bad. Like I hate seeing guys that are like family, and I love seeing play for years and years. Like Jonas was on our team for so many years. He got traded for Gasol, and I loved that deal because I knew that it was going to really help us win a championship. Marc Gasol was a really good addition, but it was also so fucking sad because Jonas Valanciunas was such an important, special Raptor for so many years that's the part of it that I hate. And that's why I don't take any glee in this trade talk or talking about this, because they're human beings. They're people that have memories here. Like Jonas got married and had his children here in Toronto. And he just recently came back with New Orleans Pelicans, and he loves this city. You can tell he still has such a huge connection to here. And that's part of what I'm talking about. That's the sad part of NBA trade talk, is that you're talking about human beings and their lives. And that's the fucked up thing that I don't like about people, how they treat them like cattle, or they just put them in the computer trade machine and then like, oh yeah, we'll just figure it out, this will work and stuff like that. You're not taking the human cost. You're not taking into the fact the human part of it, the aspect of that. And that's why I don't like these trade machine people. They're idiots in some ways. All right, let's keep going. Paul B saying, I'm seeing the mask of Miles Turner's too. Lonnie's saying, I agree, Paul, 100%. It's the all-star calls now. Yeah, let's see if our calls are a little bit better. Like, I feel like Fred gets good calls. Pascal should be starting to get better calls also. And then maybe OG will start getting better calls too soon. 14 for 14 from the free throw line. Perfect. Keep going. You're going to need it on Saturday against Denver. Make all your free throws then too, Raptors. Kyrie saying, in my opinion, they call light fouls on Giannis and he gets to the line, and Siakam gets similar contact and doesn't as much. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's different degrees. There's LeBron and Luka and Giannis fouls. And then there's going to be fouls for like, Siakam and guys at his level also. It's a little different. You're right. They do take care of those other guys a little bit better. And you think that he needs Paul thinks that he needs the Luka treatment, Pascal Siakam. Maybe. I'm more and more respect that they can get from the refs in different ways. It'll come. And like we said, they're 27. So let's see what happens over the next 3 or 4 years as time goes on. Maybe they get more and more respect from the refs because they see the development, the leaders, the role models that they are in the NBA. And they're like, we like these guys. They work hard. They've worked really hard on their games and became who they are in this league. And we want to, take care of them now. It's that kind of stuff. So, I've never seen anything like the Luka treatment. Yeah, there's different factors involved with Luka. Let's be honest here. I mean, I don't want to just blatantly say it, but there's different factors involved with Luka in some ways. Delano in the G League dominates. Just shows the difference between G League and NBA. Not dissing Delano. He will be amazing. Just pointing out the level of play. Well, this is the thing. If you really want to be a true NBA player, you better dominate on the G League, because you have to show that you're above that league and that you belong in the upper league. And that's why I'm so happy that Justin had the game he had the other day. And Delano has shown great success at that level also when he's been down there. So I think they're playing again tonight, y'all. So check out the G League. They're going to be playing, I think, at the same time as when we're playing Houston tonight. Would you trade OG and Van Vliet for LeBron? No, I wouldn't. Like, people think I'm crazy if I said that. No, I would not. Not at this point. I've never wanted LeBron James on my team. This is the one thing about me that you're going to learn is I don't like the main best player in the league. I never have. I didn't like Michael Jordan when he was playing. I thought, I don't like rooting for the guy who has it all, the guy who's at the top, who's the king. I like to root for the underdogs. I like to root for the guys who aren't supposed to win, who come up and rise above it all, like Fred VanVleet. That's why I don't like LeBron. I didn't like Kobe when he played. It was the same thing. These are the guys that they're creme de la creme, the guys you expect to be the absolute top. They're real easy to root for and have as your favorite player because they're the best player in the league. So no, I don't want LeBron. First of all, because he's not really a player anymore. He's a GM. And he's awful at GMing. He's absolutely awful at GMing. And I like our chemistry. And this is the thing. We need LeBron to be on another team so we can kick his ass and get more revenge against them for all those years in Cleveland with the Raptors and Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. That we need to keep beating LeBron's ass. And we can't do that when he's on our team. So, and honestly, I don't think I'd trade one of those guys straight up for LeBron at this point because he's so far into his career. Who knows how much longer he has? And honestly, he is a talent. He's great, but I'd rather have OG on my team. I think I'd rather have Fred straight up. And you guys may think I'm a crazy homer for the Raptors when I say that, but I really believe this. I would say no. I don't want LeBron, and I wouldn't want to pay the cost. That's for sure. G saying LeBron just said he wants to drink wine and go to bed. Hell no, he's old and destroys careers. Yeah, he's a mess. He's a mess. This is the thing. He wanted so much power. Well, that's what you get with all your power, LeBron. You have so much responsibility, whether it's as a player or just directing the Lakers as a team. That's messed up. It's the same thing with Kawhi. Players should not be GMs because they ruin their teams. And we see that they're not good GMs. So GMs should be GMs. Retire LeBron and then become a GM in the league then. And then stuff like that. Although from your track record already, nobody's going to want to hire you as a GM. So, oh my gosh. Monique, good morning. Let's go. Houston, we have a problem. All right. Monique's saying, hope all is well. Everyone go Raptors. With you, Monique. Yes, it's a Thursday. It's not as sunny and nice as it was yesterday, but hopefully it'll be a nice, warmer day still in Toronto. More thaw. Mark's saying, good morning, Mark. Good to see you. Hope you'll come and visit us. We're here every morning, sometime live between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time every day. So Mark says we need Nurkic. We may need Nurkic for a game on Saturday against Jokic. So it's Nurkic against Jokic is a pretty good matchup. And, we may be exposed on Saturday to the point where we do feel like we need a center like that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Nurkic will be on our roster by the end of the day. And we might have somebody to plug in and play against Jokic on Saturday. Yeah. But let's see. 3 o'clock's got to come first. Paul B. Oof. I just remembered Celtics are a thing. I hope they don't get better via any trades. Listen, the Celtics are the Celtics. They're going to be a tough test and battle for us either way, anyway, no matter what. And hopefully we can continue to just have success, stay above them in the standings and all kinds of stuff. Listen, the Celtics have their own dysfunctions and different problems that they have on their team. Hopefully, I don't know if Brad Stevens is a good GM. He's a good coach, but he's the GM now. And that's part of the thing is they're testing out a new coach and a new GM this season. And let's see what Brad Stevens is going to do. I've heard a lot of talk about the Time Lord getting traded somewhere, different places in the last week. But once again, we'll see. I hope that nobody gets that much improved. But once again, these teams can make deals and they could get worse too. So let's allow for that. Paul B saying get Pirtle and Bogdan Bogdanovich, the one that's on Atlanta. Yeah, I've heard his name more and more talked about possibly coming to the Raptors. He's a little short for our positionless stuff. but he's definitely a good scorer and three-point shooter off the bench. He would be more like what we wanted Svi to be. Let's keep going. Monty Python says, I agree, Mark. I'd like an elite rim protector. Yeah, Nurkic would be an upgrade in the rim protection department, but we do have a bit of that already, and it's really by committee. Kem Birch hasn't played enough recently for y'all to remember just how much he can really tie up that department for us. Like, he really can stop people near the basket in good, efficient ways with his body and positioning, and even just like irritating shots and making it hard for guys to make close shots. So I don't know. The jury's out on it. I don't think it's totally necessary to get Nurkic, but I wouldn't be upset if we figured out how to do it without losing any of our guys. So let's see. Monique saying, Coach of the Month for Nick Nurse, calling it now. I think you're right, Monique. I think that he should get it just because of the streaking and stuff that we're doing right now is a big deal. Mutombo just got it at the G League level. Why don't we see Nick Nurse get it for the month of February? I could see that. Mark saying that was Nurse sets lineups games by game. We definitely need Nurkic. Yeah, he doesn't anymore, though. He actually just sets the lineup to what it is now. He's going to start Scotty and those four other guys every single game going out for the rest of the season as long as they're healthy. I'll bet you money. And what he'll do is he'll play them against Jokic for like the first maybe couple minutes. If Jokic is absolutely killing us because we don't have a big guy, then he'll bring in Birch and he'll put him on him then. And that would be the similar thing that would happen if Nurkic came on the team. He's not going to start, y'all. He'd be a specialty player off the bench in situational situations only. And he may not get to play that much because in a lot of ways, that big guy that you need him for isn't on every team. He's on maybe like 4 or 5 teams in the league. He'd definitely be used in the game on Saturday against Denver. But there's a lot of teams that he wouldn't be used in the game last night. You look at what happened with Oklahoma City last night with Favors. Favors started as center last night, but he couldn't get in the pace of the game. The pace of the game was too up-tempo, too back and forth that, Oklahoma City had to bench him and that he was ineffective in the game and they couldn't use him as much as they wanted to last night. And that could be part of what happens with Nurkic is what I'm saying, is that the game's pace may be too much for him and that he may be only situational when somebody like Embiid or Jokic is absolutely destroying us. So that's why I'm saying I don't think we necessarily need this. And in some ways, Nick Nurse may also be saying, well, we'll let the big guy destroy us, but we won't let anybody else on their team do jack shit. And that has been a strategy he's had in the past where he's like, oh, we'll give him the big guy, but everything else they can't do. So, it's not an absolute need. It isn't an absolute need. I thought that at the beginning of the season. I was with y'all. I was like, we need a center. And I was saying that over and over again. But at this point, like I said, since Scotty Barnes has shown that he can positionally play defensive center and put a body and kind of do some good, like pushing guys out and just keeping up with them and making aggravation, he kind of has become that center that I thought we needed is Scotty. So I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but he really is. And he's effective. And you've already seen, like, even in the last couple of games, does he look stronger? Like, he looks even bigger muscles on his arms right now, Scotty Barnes, from what I'm seeing. So let's keep going. Monique saying that Lakers Raptors trade is confused. All these trade talks and different things I've seen this week have been confusing to me in different ways because when I see a trade, I look at for motive. I look for reason. I look at why would this team do this to help their team? And now Portland's trading with no kind of motive or reasoning with what they're doing. And same with Sacramento right now, it seems like. But with us, like if I see a trade that somebody puts out there and I look at it, I'm like, yeah, but why would we do this? This doesn't make any sense. Like, that's the thing I'm talking about with the trade talk is it's like, really look at it and does this benefit this? Does this make sense? Is this something that actually would help us improve? Or is this just bullshit that people are talking about? That's the kind of thing I'm thinking about when I see stuff. And sometimes it just looks stupid. Yeah. Mark's saying Raptors super fan. Facts. Yeah, that's Monique. That's Monique Lawrence, the community champion of the Raptors. You can see her in Raptors content. She's always putting stuff out on Facebook. She does a recap of the game late at night after every game. Monique writes the most amazing write-up for the game with the right stats, different observations that she's had about the game. I fully endorse Monique. Superfan Monique, if you can follow her maybe on Facebook. I don't know if you allow this, Monique. Will you follow Monique? She'll give you a great rundown after the game. I love those, Monique, when you write those. I look for them every night after the games to see what your observations and point of view and what you saw on the court. I love reading that stuff. It's always something in there that I didn't think about that I'm like, wow, yeah, she's right. And I keep doing it, Monique. And honestly, I appreciate your encouragement to me continuing to do this live stream every day also. Mark's saying Scotty needs to do the same thing with taking it to the rim and set his mark from now. Yeah, I think we're all crying out for this. We've seen this real gold that we can mine down near the basket with him posting up. Like him and OG could absolutely destroy Joshua Giddey at any time they wanted to last night. And they did. They did. And Scotty has a certain dominance around the paint with his body, his footwork, the way that he spins or the way he turns to take the shot over guys. He's really successful and fundamentally really good. And this is a well that we're not really getting water from enough yet. This is something that we're just scratching the surface on. And this could be a part of our real established offense in the future. Is feeding Scotty in the post and letting him work in the post against smaller guys is going to be a lot more common. And I just love, we see the whole package from him all the time, whether it's the passing, it's an open three, he hits, hit perfect at the free throw line last night, 6 for 6, and just in general, doing a lot of glue stuff that OG's been doing for many years. Now Scotty's doing it also. So we have like 2 glue guys now, which is amazing. 2 glue guys is really good to have. So good to have. But I agree, Mark. I think that we need to see Scotty get fed a little bit more down low because he's ready to eat. Oh, yeah, he's going to eat it up. Oh, they can't do nothing to stop him. He looks like Kawhi Leonard sometimes with his dominance in the low post. Let's see. Paul B. I wanted Giannis so badly. Instead, we got Baines. That's talking about last year. Listen, once again, we talked about bullets we've dodged as a franchise in recent years. I think that the Giannis thing is going to be one of them also. We talked about Kawhi not wanting to stay and, we wanted to be GM and us having to get Paul George and Russell Westbrook to make him happy and shipping out Pascal, OG, and Fred to make that happen. Fuck that. Just imagine how fucked up our franchise would be if we kept Kawhi and let him have all of his demands. We'd be the Clippers right now, and we'd be so dysfunctional and injured and messed up and not fun. Instead, we stuck to our own plan, and we didn't let Kawhi do that. Masai said, no, fuck you. We don't care. You can walk. You're not going to be our GM. I'm the GM, and, that kind of thing. And this is another one that may be something we dodged a bullet on eventually is the Giannis sweepstakes last year. That I'm really glad that Giannis signed the Supermax with his team and staying in Milwaukee because this is the kind of thing we need more in this league. Like Dirk Nowitzki was on the Dallas Mavericks his whole entire career. Different players in the past like Larry Bird, Reggie Miller. There's been certain players that have played on just one team their whole career. And if Giannis can set that example again in this new NBA, that bodes well for something like Scotty Barnes staying on our team for his whole entire career, which is something we all should want as Toronto Raptor fans. I'm sorry. And as soon as a Raptor fan starts talking about trading Scotty Barnes in different ways, like they talk about Pascal or Fred or OG in the last couple of years, I'm going to be like, shut the fuck up. You're crazy. We want Scotty Barnes on this team no matter what. So even though we didn't get Giannis, and even though it didn't go exactly right, I think that may be a blessing in disguise in some ways. Because as good as Giannis is, he has a lot of Achilles heels also, apparently, because look at what happens when we play them. So there's certain things about Giannis's games that are weaknesses. And it may be good that we don't have him on this team. It's like DeMar DeRozan. He has so much good about his game, but there are weaknesses to his game. And they hamstrung and hurt us for years here in Toronto. DeMar's weaknesses. And now he's overcome them to a certain degree, but there's weaknesses in Giannis's game also that causes problems for that team in some ways on the down low that they don't like talking about. They just like, oh, he's such an all-around talent, amazing player, MVP, all this kind of stuff. But there are things that you can hurt them about him. So that's what I'm saying. I think that we dodged a bullet not getting Giannis. And then it's actually really, really good that we missed out on that in some ways. Kyrie saying the Leafs play in as well for their 7 straight. Yeah, this is so interesting that both the Toronto main teams, the Maple Leafs and the Raptors, have win streaks going at the same time. And they're going for 7 games wins in a row tonight as well. I don't follow the Leafs at all, like at all. I historically, my family is a Leaf family. My dad used to go to Maple Leaf Gardens games way back when he was a kid, back when they were winning Stanley Cups in the 60s and stuff. But I got really disenchanted with the franchise when I worked for MLSE because I saw the way that the Leafs were run. I saw how mismanaged and how stupid they are. And their mismanagement was bleeding over into mismanaging of the Raptors. And I hated them for that. I was in the building working for MLSE, and I saw just how much the Leafs were fucking up the Raptors back then. So I have animosity towards the Leafs. I want them to do well. If they win a Stanley Cup, I'll be very happy for the city and for the fans and stuff like that. But I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan. That's my team because they lost their team and they got it back. And I have a lot of family in Manitoba. And I'm just really happy that the Jets exist again, that they got their team taken away. And that you really, they're like the antithesis of the Leafs. The Leafs are like, oh, it's so privileged and given everything. And meanwhile, the Jets, they had to fight and get their team back, and they appreciate their team so much more than sometimes the Leaf fans appreciate their team. So that's the difference with me with that. But yeah, I hope they win tonight. I saw that fight that Simmons had recently. I really like Wayne Simmons. He was a player I had on my fantasy hockey team a couple years ago. He's a kid from here in Toronto, and I love that he's playing for Toronto, and he's scrappy. He had his helmet off, and he was taking hits to the face with no helmet on. I was like, man, that dude's a badass. But yeah, I'm not really a big Leafs fan. I barely pay any attention to them. Barely at all. If they get in the playoffs and they get past the first round, then maybe I'll start paying attention to them. But they got to get in the playoffs and they got to get past the first round because the first round, we know, first round in the Leafs. Mark's saying, Paul B, you crazy for asking that question. You need to be deported to LA. Whoa, wait, Mark. Wait, I know you're new here, but listen, Paul B's patched in, man. He is a Raptor Freak Cult alumni original. He was here right from the start with me. He is not crazy. And, yeah, I like that you're replying to him in that way about the LeBron question. Is that shows your allegiance and like, yeah, you're with me on my opinion on how I feel about that. But don't tell one of my originals he needs to be deported to LA. No, man. I mean, I know that Paul's been to some games in LA and he's had a good time out there and stuff like that. But no, man, no, we can't do that to him. He's an original. He's on our squad. He's for real. He means well. It's just he wanted to point something out about how crazy I am about the Raptors, that I don't want to trade even a single one of them. I wouldn't trade Fred straight up for LeBron James today. No, I would not do that. No, come and bring me that trade idea, somebody. And I'll say, no, we don't want that. And it'd be interesting if he got that call, Bobby Webster, what he would say to them. Like, you want to trade me LeBron for Fred? What? First of all, that would never happen because LeBron is the one who wants people to come to him. He doesn't want to come to us. He's staying in LA. First of all, that would never happen. So, but yeah, you can't say my guys are crazy, not especially an original like Paul B. Kyrie, Giannis and Siakam dynamic duo would have been insane. In some ways, they're duplicitous. In some ways, they may not have enough room. In some ways, they may do exactly the same thing. And in some ways, I might actually want Pascal instead of Giannis. Think about that, in some ways. So in some way, I think that Siakam is more tough. He's more hardened than Giannis. In some ways, I feel like Giannis is soft in different ways. In some ways, yeah. Paul B, I'd gladly take AD to the Raptors. Now you're sounding crazy now, Paul, if you're going to say that. I don't want Anthony Davis on this team. He's a loser, man. He has bad habits. He's got all the skill and the talent in the world, but he has bad habits, and he's a problem player on your team. He'll loaf for your team. He'll set a tone that's a low bar that nobody wants. You don't want that kind of influence on a team. So maybe Mark's right a little bit there now, Paul. No, we don't want AD, man. Let's see. Monique's saying, please apologize to Pascal right now. Yes, every Pascal hater, everybody who said ugly things about him because of the bubble, because of his struggles in the past few years, apologize to him. Apologize to him every day. Apologize to him on the hour, every hour, for at least a week, for all the slanderous things you said about this man, how you put him down and made him feel like he was not good enough, because he is good enough. And he's proven it night in, night out now. Okay, let's see, Mark. Paul B, you just confirmed to me that you were crazy. Why would you want injury prone? Okay, listen, I have to side with Mark on this, Paul. You are acting a little crazy talking about AD on this. But listen, still, one thing I will say, Mark, is we do not attack each other in this stream. We are all one collective, positive Raptors fan group, and we're not here to be up on each other or telling each other we're crazy or they need to be deported and stuff like that. We just don't do that here. So please refrain from it. I don't like personal attacks on different members and people on here. Paul, you are crazy though for saying that. We don't want Davis. I'm backing up Paul, but you are crazy for thinking that, okay? All right, let's see. AD has no heart and motivation. He is also injury prone. He can't win with LeBron against a depleted Blazers team. Yeah, okay. G's saying a lot of what I just said about him too. Cecilia, good morning. I hope you'll come and visit us every morning. We're here live sometime between 8 a.m. Eastern time and 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be here maybe for a half hour, an hour, 2 hours. Depends on how much there is to talk about. Let's see what you're saying. Love OG, man. He's humble, quiet, and funny. Glad he is part of the organization. Yes, Cecilia, yes. He is such a great personality, and I really hope he's one of the first guests on Chris Boucher's new podcast, Hustle Play, because Chris is saying he's going to bring teammates on the show, and they're going to vibe and talk to each other just like they do behind the scenes, just as friends, and I really hope that OG is one of them, because we want to know more about the enigma of OG Anunoby. He is an amazing person. He's such a talent, and it's so fun to watch him play right now. I totally agree with you, Cecilia. I love him too. I love OG so much, and he ain't got nothing to do with Texas. Oh, yeah, he don't. Let's see, Paul B. I'm just picking Van Vliet, lobbing it to AD dunks. Okay, he's seeing Fred Van Vliet throwing the ball up in the air and AD just throwing it down so easy. Still, Paul, at what cost? What cost? What do we have to send them for him? And like, honestly, you're not getting the same kind of heart and determination. Because in some ways, I don't measure a guy by his stat line or his talent or what he possibly could do. I measure him by his heart and by where he came from, like Fred came from or Pascal came from and where they've gone to. That shows way more about a character and what that kind of player is than that. Because like AD's had everything handed to him. He's supposed to be this good, but he isn't even as good as he's supposed to be. He could just imagine what he would be like if he had the mentality of Fred Van Vliet. And he had all the tools that he has. Just imagine who he'd be. He'd be the greatest NBA player that ever played in the NBA. He would beat LeBron. He would beat Wilt. He would beat everybody. He would be that kind of guy. If he had Fred's heart and mentality and determination and his skill set and his body, that's the difference. You don't want loafers. I don't care how talented they are or anything like that. You don't want loafers. All right, I've defended Paul B as much as I can on this. I will not defend you anymore on this, Paul. But yes, once again, do not go after each other in my stream. I'm not here for it. I will not allow this to happen. Okay, let's keep going. He took 11 shots yesterday. No hustle and heart anymore. Okay, anyone on our team can get a lob and dunk, though. Yeah, I agree with that too, G. Like, listen, let's stop talking about Anthony Davis. It's not even worth talking about, honestly. He's on a team that's not that important, and he's a player on, the Lakers are garbage. Let's just keep it that way. Let's see. Mark saying, Paul B, we have young players for Fred to do that with. Yeah, I agree with all this. It's like we have guys that we can lob to and stuff like that. Paul B's also saying he was the best player in the bubble finals. Listen, I would have taken Davis when he was on New Orleans before he went to Los Angeles. But when he went to LA, he learned all of LeBron's bad habits and he became a shitty player. He was developing into a really good all-around player when he was on the Pelicans. But when he went to LA, he got ruined. He basically got tainted and tarnished, and he's not worth getting, man. His contract's not even worth his output, and he really does, he's a bad role model. You bring him on this team, and our young guys that are looking up to him, like Precious and Scotty, will not play as hard. They will learn bad habits. They may learn dumb things from him and they may do dumb things because of him and stuff like that. I don't want Davis. I would have taken him before LeBron tainted him in LA from New Orleans. Yeah, I would have taken him from there, but not now that he's gone to LA. He's had that cushy life. He's seen how LeBron loafs, and he's loafed in as a young guy, even though LeBron loafs because he's old and he needs to recover. Davis is treating it like it's the same thing for him. All right, I don't want to talk about him for the rest of today. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. My Python said, guys, my doctor called and said I've got the healthiest blood work he's seen and should frame it in the office. Hey, kudos to Monty Python. You got strong blood, strong purple and red blood going through those veins, man. Let's see. Our entire starting lineup can dunk from Fred Lob, even Gary if they want. Yeah, okay. All right, we're moving past this. Kenrick, good morning. Always good to see you. Kem can't see in the mask. That may be true to a degree. It's not that he can't see. It's just probably awkward and just not used to it. It's really got to be like just annoying and not fun to have to wear those masks and stuff like that. And you might be right. He may be having a little bit of trouble with his sight lines, although it seems like the eye holes are super big on this mask that he's wearing. But it did look like at times last night that he was blind to some things that were going on around him. I think you're right. Bubble finals. Only Lakers, Heat, and Clippers held private practices during COVID while every team was not allowed. Look it up. They privately practice. Yeah, G's right. And that was a factor into it. You look at the two teams who made the finals, they were both teams that were practicing, Miami and the Lakers. It was a competitive edge the NBA allowed a couple of teams to have in the NBA during that period of time. It's fucked up. And honestly, the bubble maybe should never happen. That they really wanted to force an opportunity for LeBron to get an easy another championship. I in some ways don't like that bubble championship. I think it's kind of fucked up. And in some ways, I don't even really look at Davis as an NBA champion because I kind of discount that championship in some ways. So let's see. My Python saying, I agree. If you had a Nurkic or Pirtle, you wouldn't even need to use him every game. We would use Pirtle, but Nurkic is different. Pirtle is so mobile. Like I was comparing these two guys the other day is if Nurkic is Shaq and Pirtle is David Robinson, which means he can run up and down the court just as fast as anyone and keep up with the scheme. That's why I like Pirtle way better, is because he can be a positionless player in our scheme and not hurt us in any kind of way. He's actually perfect because we know he's already a chemistry fit. He's best friends with Pascal and Fred and OG. They all play together and they love each other. We know he's not going to come in and cause problems. And he could be somebody that he doesn't have to start either. He could come off the bench and be this kind of like tall rim protector guy. Pirtle is the absolute perfect addition. Honestly, he really is. And Nurkic would be fine. But once again, he doesn't have the same mobility that Pirtle has. Pirtle has some really good mobility. Like he gets up and down the court quick for a guy that does what he does. Kyrie, source just tweeted that Lakers are interested in Dennis Schroeder again. These guys love these boomerangs. Like LeBron has a couple guys on boomerangs, like Dwight Howard and Rajon Rondo, and now Schroeder. Schroeder left because he was not working out with them and they didn't get along, and now he wants them back all of a sudden. It's like, figure it out. Figure it out, LeBron. I mean, or maybe just don't be a GM. I mean, come on. Okay. Mark shouting out Monique. Yeah, let's go. All right, our Toronto, good morning. He says we need a center. That seems to be a common thought by a lot of Raptor fans these days. Let's see what happens by 3 o'clock today. Monique on fire. Yes, Monique is a real one. She's been with us since the very beginning. I've known Monique for years, actually, y'all. I've interacted with her on Facebook for many, many years already, and I've always loved and respected her content and the different things she's doing on there. Definitely check out Monique, Superfan Lawrence, and any kind of avenue in different places you can, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's just her content with the Raptors on the Raptors channel itself, stuff like that. Graham, laugh out loud. Houston, we have a problem. I'm not even doing a proper preview for this game tonight because honestly, that's how much disrespect I have for them. Like, there's no way we should lose to Houston tonight. We need to take care of business, be professional, come in there with our level of energy, make sure that we just kick their ass. And if we lose this game tonight, that's fucked up. And it'll be some fucked up shit. And it'll be a weird stream tomorrow. But I really feel like we're going to cruise and we should do really well. But they need to continue to make the winning plays and hustle, work hard, do exactly what they've been doing. They can't take a night off on any night against any team, no matter what their record is. So we need to make sure they have all kinds of problems. And maybe they can get like a 30-point lead on the Rockets, and we can see Yuta, Svi, Malachi play the whole last quarter of the game tonight. I'd like to see them play the entire fourth quarter tonight because the game's not close. Oh, yeah, that's what we want to see. All right, let's keep going. M. Jones, good morning. Good to see you. Really and truly, the Raps do have to make a move because our players are logging too many minutes. And based on Masai's standards, I believe he also knows there has to be a change to this situation. I've been on the fence about this. I've agreed with you, like what a lot of people are saying about too many minutes for these guys. But also at the same time, I'm kind of like being won over by Nick Nurse's philosophy here. That in some ways, this may not seem like it's sustainable, but because so many of the guys in the core, the starting five, and then, first three off the bench, maybe include Banton too. So the first four off the bench, the top 9 guys are playing at such a high quality level that it's like they really want to get as much time on the court with them all together. And that, you know what? I don't think they are getting tired or worn out. I think that they're actually getting a super conditioning right now. That these extra minutes, these heavy minutes are actually making them even stronger in some ways. Like they seem like they're getting better. They seem like they're getting more control. They don't seem like they're absolutely exhausted at the end of the game. And in situations where they do seem like it, I mean, Nick's been pretty good about keeping rotations quick and guys fresh in and out, stuff like that. Like one of the things you see is Scotty comes out pretty early because he's a rookie. He's going to hit a rookie wall because he never played this many games in a row and this tight, like stuff like that. So he needs to watch out for him in particular. But the other guys, I don't know, because listen, they're like, all right, Fred in particular, he can play 40 minutes every game for the rest of the year and he'll be fine for the playoffs. I'm going to tell you that right now. You may think I'm crazy that he's going to get worn out like Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and years past where they got overused in the regular season. In the playoffs, they were absolute garbage because they were so tired. But this is the thing about Fred. Fred is really smart, and he picks and chooses his times when to go all out and when not to go out. And I think that as long as Nick Nurse is working with Alex McKechnie, the sports medicine science guy, the doctor on the team who's monitoring their biorhythms and their body stuff and saying like, well, he's exhausted or this stuff, you need to do this. As long as he's really monitoring that kind of stuff, I think that they're fine. And I think that I trust Nick in playing these guys heavy minutes right now. I think it's working. That's the one thing. It's working. So why? I mean, it may not be sustainable, and it may be by the end of the year that we have more minutes going to the bench in different ways because somebody's stepped up, they're playing better. Maybe Chris is getting more of a chunk, Precious is getting more of a chunk, Kem's getting more of a chunk and eating into their minutes. It's already kind of happening to a degree, but I don't totally agree with like Blake Murphy had a tweet last night freaking out because Pascal played 40 minutes last night and they have to play a back-to-back and play again tonight. I'm like, I'm not worried about that anymore. These guys are tough. They're thoroughbreds running up and down the court. They can handle it and they like it. They want to do it. So at a certain point, I was like, yeah, this isn't sustainable, but maybe it is. I don't know. It's really hard to understand. And I don't think it's Masai or Bobby are worried about this particular problem. It's really kind of like the sports medicine guys, McKechnie, the health people monitoring the players, making sure that they're capable of doing it and they're fine, their biorhythms. And then like Nurse, just his discretion. I want these guys out there for this period of time. And you notice the way he's rotating is very like set right now. He has a set starting lineup. He brings Scotty out at a certain point early in the game. He has Delano starting the second and fourth quarters. He has that period of time. That's when Fred gets to sit for an extended period from the end of the first quarter into the second quarter, and the same at the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter. That's when Fred's sitting, and the only time he's sitting is basically when Delano comes in there and they play that really big lineup at the beginning of the second and the fourth quarters. And so he's doing different little things, and he's really paying attention to when guys are tired or not. And because he has so many of these core guys, it seems like he's overplaying them, but in a way, is he? I don't know. The jury's still out on this, and this is going to change, obviously, by the end of the year. We'll see. It's probably they're going to get their minutes eaten into more and more, but it could be they play heavy minutes throughout the whole season, and then at the end of the year, we have load management games where guys are getting to sit entire games. Like they each like Pascal's out for this whole game, OG's out for this whole game, Fred's out for this whole game, like they've done in the past. That's how they'll manage it near the end of the season. But in a way, I feel like we're actually really testing and tempering them, hardening them in the fire to be even stronger because of all these heavy minutes. I know that sounds crazy, and maybe they get worn down, and it may be risky, But I'm all for it right now. I was against it about a couple months ago when they first started really doing it. But now seeing what's happening and how it's developing, it's like maybe he's a mad genius. He's a gambler. He's doing stuff that doesn't go with like normal basketball thinking, but it is. I don't know. It's tough to say, and it'll change. I mean, we'll see when it's not working because we lose a game because our guys are absolutely tired or we have something stupid, horrible happen. Hopefully nothing happens like that. Knock on wood. Paul B, I feel like there is a bizarre Raptors world where if we had actually drafted a number 7 or 8 instead of 4, we would have taken Giddey, or the whole Jalen Suggs thing. Fun to imagine during the game. That is interesting. Like if we hadn't won in the lottery draft, like gotten up to 4th from the 7th spot that we were slated to be in, that was interesting who we might have had at the time. I remember they were projecting before the draft lottery that we'd get Kuminga. That was actually the name that they kept saying, that the Raptors look like they'll get Jonathan Kuminga at number 7. That was the name. I remember that. But it'd be interesting if it was Giddey. I don't know if that would totally fit with what we're doing because we just got rid of Lowry. We'd have another point guard. I guess he'd be the next guy in line, point guard. M. Jones, that's the number 1 rule of the Raptor Freak cult. Trust in Masai. We know something good's going to happen. Sue saying, thanks for all that you do for the Raptor community. Monique. Yes, thank you, Monique. I'll second that. Scotty B saying, Paul B is saying Scotty B is the new Giannis molding game by game. Yeah, I can get behind that. He's gonna more and more get better and better. He's gonna be better. He's already really good for a rookie at this point. If you look at different players at this point in their rookie career, they're not doing what he's doing. He's ahead of schedule. So he's ahead of guys like Kawhi. He's ahead of where Kobe was in some ways. Like if you look at where Kobe was in his first rookie year, he wasn't doing shit like this. Like he did important plays, but he was off the bench. He only averaged like 8 points or 9 points a game. So that's what I'm telling you is Scotty's starting at a higher floor than even some of the greatest superstars in the last couple decades. So I love it. I love it. Paul B saying, I'm just chatting, crazy talking. Yeah, Paul, you are being a little crazy this morning. But yeah, I wanted y'all to, yeah, okay, Mark, good. It's just because you're new, man. And I just wanted you to understand that this is a positive place. And like, I don't like infighting. I want everybody, it's all love, just like you're saying there. I love you, brother. I'm glad you're here today. Paul B, I'm going to wear my Siakam jersey to work. I'm sorry, everyone. Why are you apologizing to us? And don't apologize to anybody in work either. Go in there proud with your head up high and say, yeah, I support Pascal Siakam. Does anybody here have a problem with this? We can talk about this, and I can tell you how he's becoming a consistent superstar that's getting all-star calls on the court from the referees now. Yeah, tell him that today, Paul. Let's see. He's also saying, I need Flynn on that Boucher podcast. Ooh, yeah, Malachi Flynn as a guest on the unfiltered Chris Boucher. We're going to cuss and talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about on show. That would be very interesting to see what Malachi would say. I don't think he would sound like Eric Flint. I think he would get on there. He'd be a very measured, smart, thoughtful young man that would say things like, I am really happy to be working with Fred VanVleet. I like being on the Raptors. I feel good about things. I don't think he's like Gary Trent. Like we were saying that he may be like Gary Trent in Portland, depressed right now. He may be a little down because he's a baller. He wants to be out there. Obviously, he wants to be out there contributing and stuff like that. But he's got to realize his time's going to come. And that he may have got more opportunities earlier in his career just because of the situation with the Raptors last year. And that this year is a way different situation. He's going to have to really wait for his time to come again and really, really make the best of it because he is on the bubble for maybe being on the team or not being on the team. But he'd be a great guest on that Boucher podcast. Oh, my God, you are exactly right. It'd be so much fun to hear that. Let's see. M. Jones is giving you +1. So, yeah, you got a point, Paul. Monique saying free throws were a beauty. 14 for 14. Let's replicate this every single time. They are free for a reason. Let's keep those points on our score and not left on the table. Oh, yeah, we earn them because we get fouled 2 or 3 times and we get to the line maybe once out of those times. So we really got to make them count. Monty Python saying, hey, man, we have one rule in this forum. Okay, yeah, we have a few rules. But, we don't usually have to do that. Everybody love everybody. Yeah, that's not totally true, Monty, though, because we don't love Brooklyn. We don't love Boston. We don't love LeBron. There's people we don't love. But in-house, we're a family with the Raptors. If you're a player and you have anything to do with the Raptors, even if you're slumping, even if you're Aaron Baines, we have to love you still. Yeah, that's just how it is. But I'm glad you guys worked it all out and everything's fine. And, we haven't really had this much happening in the commentary comments with you guys, like going at each other. And I'm thankful for that. There was that one troll that one day last week, and G's waiting for the next one to step in here and step into it. Oh, yeah, we'll find out. Okay, let's see. Paul B. AD is just a fragile popsicle stick, but my wife is addicted to watching him play. She's a Kobe Shaq era lady. Can't hate. So this is why when you said let's deport Paul to LA, it's like, well, Paul goes to LA. He's seen LA games with his wife because his wife's a big Lakers fan. And that may be part of the reason why Paul's saying this, is because happy life is a happy wife. And the wife will be happy if Davis is on the Raptors all of a sudden because she likes the Lakers. So that he has his own reasons for trying to orchestrate an Anthony Davis trade to the Raptors. It's at home. I love it. I love it. I hope I didn't divulge too much personal information there for about your life, Paul, and the fact that was your reasoning for why you wanted Davis. Monty Python saying, like Jackie Moon, everybody love everybody. Yeah, it's good to be like good to each other in general in ways. I don't like trolls. I don't like people who like to trigger people. People who get online and just like say stuff to just be controversial and get people upset and stuff like that. They thrive and on it, that kind of stuff. I have no patience for people like that. Let's see. Monique saying Pirtle Power. I love it. I really want to see it back in a Raptor jersey. Mark said, I actually love the possessionless game because it allows us to switch out when we need without disturbing the flow of our game. It's a brilliant strategy. And I'm so happy and proud that our team that we love, our franchise, is the leading pioneers in this world of positionless basketball. And that we are really seeing it work. Like the thing about it that's working at such a level that we can be an efficient, miss free throws, not shoot well, get less field goal attempts, have more turnovers, and still win games because it has such a huge impact on it. I've likened it to this in the past. It's like playing an RPG and you get the right lineup of characters in your fighting team that you get a bonus, a synergy bonus between all your guys that is just so overwhelming and powerful in itself because the collective as a whole adds up to so much more than just one individual, 5 individuals each. And that's the real difference with our team against other teams is our team concept really gets that synergy and that bonus out there, and it makes it hard to beat. And you're right. The switchability is just so nasty because they can switch. You switch Gary Trent off of you, and all of a sudden you got OG on you. Okay, make another switch. You make a switch, and then you got Pascal on you instead. It's like you're not going to get to a weak defender. You're going to have a plus defender that can fuck you up, but by stealing it, blocking it, deflecting it, all kinds of different ways, no matter where you go out there. And that's the nastiness of the positionless scheme on defense. Oh my gosh. And we can talk about the stuff on the other end with the positionless scheme on offense and how it gets us these post-ups down low on smaller guards with like OG and Scotty. It's the same kind of stuff and stuff that's happening. Mark, totally with you. They're brilliant. I love that Masai and Bobby are rolling the dice and constructing a team like this where at the beginning of the season, some experts were saying the Raptors look really weird. They don't have a center. What are they doing? And they're still saying that kind of stuff during the games, but it doesn't matter. So it's so good. Paul B saying Raptors sent scouts to Australia to watch Giddey, and I figured, oh, that's a worthy replacement for Lowry. Makes sense. So glad they got Scotty instead. Yeah, because Scotty could be Giddey in a way, but also like the size and all the other stuff. No, Scotty was the best pick for us, and I'm just so glad he's on our team. We would see him on another team if he was drafted by another team. We'd be like, wow, that guy's really good. I wish we had him. So that's basically what every other team is like with him right now. Because they see what he's doing, and like the people that really know the NBA are like, this guy's a real one. Because he's an old school throwback. He's doing Magic Johnson layups over his shoulder with his back to the basket. He's doing the baby hook. He's doing the Dirk like jump shot at the top of the free throw line. You know, he has all the old school moves. I call him an old school NBA jukebox because we see him do like mimic mannerisms and movements of past NBA players on the court all the time. It's like he's an old school throwback in the moment. It's so cool. But yeah, I'm so glad it worked out the way it was. And the Raptors may have been partly in Australia trying to talk to Trevor Gleeson at that time also. If you saw, Gleeson talked to Giddey for a long time after the game. They showed them palling around and talking to each other because obviously I'm pretty sure Trevor Gleeson has coached Giddey or been around him in Australia already before. Monique's saying, I'm worried what the NBA is thinking now. Yeah, you know what? Listen, they're worried. They're going to have to be worried. Like GMs are possibly trying to figure out, how can we mimic what Toronto's doing up there? How can we be like them? How can we do what they're doing? It's insane. And, it may be we're a special case that we've just done it in the right way. We've constructed, we've been smart. We really thought about our players and how we want to build this roster. And Bobby says he's continuing to go in this direction, that he's not going to make a deal today if that person that's coming here does not fit the positionless scheme. So you can't expect anybody who's under 6'6" to come to this team and get traded here today. And on the reverse, you can't expect anybody who's too slow and too big at the other end of the spectrum to get traded to this team either. That they have to fit into the positionless scheme seamlessly and be a part of it also. That Fred may be the only guy grandfathered in that isn't going to be short, that's going to be short on this team going forward. So that's just how it is. Let's keep going. Paul B saying, Flynn talks to Boucher about how much he likes Blake Griffin for 90 minutes. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's all these pictures of Malachi when he was a kid meeting Blake Griffin. And yeah. That's funny, Paul. Man, you're cracking me up today, Paul, with this Davis stuff and now this. Okay, now he's still talking about Davis. Let's see. Davis can play the 4 or 5, and the wife being happy is the number one goal at the end of the day. There you go. There's a reason right there. He has a very selfish reason for wanting Davis on our team, and it's very self-serving. And I can't go against why and the logic in that, Paul. Get Davis to make your wife happy. Paul B says she dresses our son in Raptors gear with our last name on the back, so it's all love. Okay, good. As long as the kid's wearing the Raptor stuff and not the Lakers stuff. Oh, so good. Andrew, if we won a few of those one possession losses, we'd be a top seed. Andrew's bringing this up again. If we had won that last game against Oklahoma City, the one before the one last night, yes, we'd have a better record. Let me look at the standings real quick, exactly where we are right this second. We are 4 games out of number 1. So, yeah, Andrew's right. We win like 2 or 3 of the games that were really close, like that Cleveland game at the last second. Some of the bullshit games we had to play during the COVID pandemic problem we had, we had some losses there that were ugly and we didn't need to get. It'd be a lot different. I just love that we're really close to being in the lead of the Atlantic Division. We just got to overcome Philadelphia. All right, let me see what else we're saying here. Mara Smith, thank you for the compliment. Please come join us every day. We're live on YouTube, doing a live stream, just talking about the daily Raptor stuff every day. I'm going to finish up those soon as I'm right at 2 hours. Kyrie saying, oh, my God, the Bucks just got Ibaka in a 4-way trade. Whoa, the Bucks got Ibaka. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting afternoon. Good for them. Mar, stop. I'm looking that shit up. Okay, I'm not sure what they're saying exactly. Anyway, tonight we just got to not take the Rockets lightly. We did a great job against the Thunder last night, matching their energy, just outplaying them, making winning plays, having Pascal be the best player on the court. We need to make sure we do all that stuff again correctly. I love that we made all our free throws, even though we were playing a shitty team. And we just need to continue to not play down to the competition, play with the excellence that we're showing, the execution that we're showing, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine tonight. And I'm really looking forward to having an 8-game win streak after tonight. Oh, yeah. We've got a 5-game win streak this season. We got a 6-game win streak. And let's get an 8-game win streak after tonight. Oh, yeah. Let's see what else. We can finish up with these last few comments. Mark saying, even before the draft, I was posting Scotty picks saying shocker coming when everyone was riding for Suggs. Can you imagine how I felt come draft night to now? Yeah, listen, I didn't get caught up in all of it. I don't pay attention to it myself just because I like to be pleasantly surprised and not disappointed no matter what. A lot of people that knew Scotty were like, he could be the guy. And we were right. And that's good that we did get Scotty. He was the right pick. He was the best. I really do truly believe he's going to be the best rookie in this great rookie class in 10 years from now. That everybody will say Scotty Barnes was definitely the number one guy in this draft from last year. Paul B saying, what? Moose, now Ibaka. Okay, so yeah, they got Greg Monroe, and now they got Ibaka. Okay, Monique's saying, not sure how true this is, but many TSN don't see Flynn long term. Yeah, I don't see Flynn long term just because of the way he's playing. And like, he's not going to fit in this positionless scheme. He's on the outs in some ways. So he may be better off either getting traded or going to another team and getting something going for him. It's too bad. But yeah, I agree with this. I think that it's easy to see that Malachi's days may be numbered as a Raptor, and his dad didn't help things in the middle of the season. That's for sure. With his being outspoken on social media. Andrew said, hopefully Ibaka sinks the Bucks from inside. Yeah, inside job. I mean, hey, Serge's still kind of working for us on the down low. He was in Clipperland and all this kind of stuff. Okay, Kyrie's breaking it. He's saying we traded Goran for Thaddeus Young. Thaddeus Young's a great player. I think he's around 6'9", 6'10", power forward, very mobile, good shot blocker, good rebounder, has some offensive skills. If this is true, I'm all for this. Hopefully we didn't trade anybody else for him, and we just got him straight up. So, wow, that's a great deal. All right, well, we'll end it on that note. I think we got a new player, guys, and we'll talk more about it tomorrow, and we'll see exactly what happened. I hope you're right, Kyrie. All right. Let's go, Raptors. Let's beat the Rockets tonight. Houston, you're going to have a problem. Positionless basketball combined with the flex offense and a bunch of 7-foot wingspans. You're going to have a problem tonight. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun to see this rookie matchup between Scotty Barnes and Jalen Green. I really want to see Scotty tear him up. Yeah, Scotty, have a good game tonight so you get more Rookie of the Year consideration. Because that's something you need to think about when you're out there. Produce and make winning plays and do more and more of that, and you'll get more and more consideration. All right, guys. See y'all tomorrow. All the best. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Thanks for being here, all the new viewers and stuff like that. I hope you'll subscribe. I need to get 1,000 subscriptions, guys. I have this goal to get 1,000 subscribers before the end of the playoffs this year. And I know as the Raptors do better and better, more people are going to come here. And hopefully you guys will choose to subscribe, because that will help my channel become able to be have advertisers and monetize and stuff like that. So I looked at it. The only thing I need is 1,000 subscribers. So we've got a triple digit of some sort. I don't want to say exactly, but we can get there. I know I can get one good spike of like real interest and flow from something good happening with the team. It's going to happen. I know it's inevitable. All right, guys. All right, let's go. All right, that's a great pickup. Yeah, I believe, and this is really good. All right, let's go, Raptors. If we got Thaddeus Young, he's the newest Raptor. I love this. This is a great player. He's somebody that I've liked for a couple years now. All right, beat the Rockets. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the reaction Friday. All right. All right, everybody, have a good day. Be kind to each other. Go Raptors, baby. Woo!